Alright, hello. Hello, 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 hello. Hello, hello. Um, I'm sorry. I'm quite late, but that's fine. I was I'll be completely honest. Firstly, I was talking to a friend about something, and that's why I was 10 minutes late. And then I had to go rush and do something very quickly that I did not realize I had to do before the stream. That's why I was an extra 10 minutes late. But I did save a lizard. I did save a lizard, which hopefully makes up for that gecko that died the other day, because I felt kind of bad about that. I didn't kill the gecko, to be clear, or lizard, or whatever he was, because he was on my wall. I tried to save him, but then he just fell. He fell like 5 feet, and he did not feel so well after. The gecko died. He did pass away. I was trying to get him onto like a piece of paper, so I put the piece of paper like under him on the wall, and then he fell. And I felt bad because I was trying to get him out, but he fell, and then he proceeded to not move very much. But I did just save a baby lizard who was in a trash can. He was trapped in there. So I saved him because I felt bad. I usually save them in the trash cans if I can, but I did had to like dig around in the trash for a little bit to get that guy. But I did feel bad. So, Fluffkins, hello. Anima, hello. Jacksmillion, hello. Welcome. Hopefully everybody's doing well. So yeah, that's why I was like an extra 10 minutes late, but that's my bad. But I'm here now. I'm sorry again for no stream yesterday. I did let everybody know that there was gonna be no stream yesterday. I didn't put out a notification. I probably should have. I got caught up yesterday with stuff though, and got distracted and forgot to do it. But I did let everybody know the stream before that there wasn't going to be one. But I should say, because if somebody wasn't there that day, so I should have put out a notification. That's my bad. But I had something important yesterday, so no stream yesterday. But that's fine. That is all good. I am a little bit tired, and I also am not sure how tired I am. I can feel that I'm tired, but I don't know how tired, because my sleep over the last 48 hours has been, I don't know how much I've slept, genuinely. I have no idea. I woke up earlier and I felt like decently rested, and I looked at my phone. I was like, I was really fucking tired when I went to bed. But I went to bed like an hour ago. I don't understand. Cuz I don't know. I was really tired when I went to sleep last night. And I thought, oh, it'll be fine. But I woke up like an hour later. I went back to bed though. I did go back to bed. But I woke up like an hour later, and I thought like, cuz like it really fucked with my sense of time, cuz I was like, I slept a whole bunch, right? Cuz I was like, oh yeah, I feel like decently rested. Okay, it'll be around this time. And I look at the clock and I'm like, what? Like I genuinely thought there was something wrong, and I was like, I don't know what time it is. So I don't know. I don't know how much I've slept. I don't know, but that's fine. That is fine. But I was talking to a friend actually. Also, yeah, just hello. Working for Big Water. Sorry, I had to do that thing very quickly, so I am in a little bit of a fast-paced mood. Oh, the Steam uploaded a thing. I actually kind of wanted to look at it. Can I find it again, or is it gone? What would be a good way to find it? Go to a Valve game. It might still be doing the sale, I assume. Aw, I think it's gone. Sedge, I wanted to look at it. They released a kind of like a history over the last like 20 years, because Steam is 20 years old. It was 20 years old on the 12th, which is crazy. 20 years old. I mean, like, if you're talking PC gaming in the last 20 years, I mean, Steam is pretty much one of the most important aspects. I mean, like, you can't talk about PC gaming over the last 20 years without talking about Steam. I mean, they've definitely led the way in many a regard, I feel like. But they were just talking about like lots of different history. They're also talking about just random like events that happened in those years, which was kind of funny. It's like talking about like Lady Gaga's meat dress and like different memes and like when YouTube started and stuff. It was actually really interesting to read about, especially because I was like, it's interesting because everybody will look at those events differently. Because like for me, reading those first 10 years from like, 2003 to 2013, like that's when I was like, I was barely alive, you know what I mean? Like I was a child, and like so I wasn't on the internet. I didn't know any of that stuff that was happening, you know what I mean? So it was really interesting to read that kind of stuff because like I was alive when that stuff happened, but I wasn't aware of it happening, if that makes sense. So it's like very different in that aspect. And then reading the stuff that I was actually a part of. I didn't get to read it all though. I'm sad that it's gone. They only left it up for like one day. It was like definitely like some corporate kind of like cringy humor here and there, but I mean, it's like, or not like corporate cringy humor, but like just like hip with the kids, you know what I mean, kind of that kind of thing. But I mean, I thought it was entertaining. It was entertaining to read. So oh wait, I can click on it. Yeah, here it is. There's a video. I bet Gabe wrote it himself. Dude, I'm scared when Gabe's gonna... I mean, he's getting old, man. I'm pretty sure he's pretty old. He's probably like 60, right? Yeah, he's 60 exactly, actually. Holy shit. What a guess. He's 60 years old. I mean, he's still got at least 10 years, right? He's still got at least 10 years. I mean, it depends how healthy he is. I kind of wanted to read this, though. I thought it'd be fun to read. We could read this on stream. How do you guys feel about that? I thought it'd be... I like gaming history. This isn't Watch Dogs, but that's fine. I'll change the title. I'll change the title, and we'll read this, and then we'll play Watch Dogs. I thought that'd be fun. I thought it disappeared, so that's why I didn't think we were going to do it. Oh, I didn't change the going live notification today. Fuck, because I wasn't going to change the title, so I forgot that I needed to change the going live notification. That's my bad. Shit, a little bit scuffed today, but that's okay. I'm game, hell yeah. If evil corporate overlords like Murdoch or anything to go by, he's got a few 1,000 years in him left. Okay, hell yeah. Hell yeah. All right, let's read this. I think that'll be fun. I think that will be a fun time. Let me get rid of Mr. Wheel. Let me make a quick window capture. And we'll do some reading. And just talking about games in general. Because they talk about like what the most popular games were and stuff. Cool. I like reading about this stuff. I think it's really interesting. All right. Alright. So it's got a little cool splash art here. I'm not sure what that is. Obviously, that's a Nyan Cat potato from Portal, right? Wheatley thing. That, I know what that's from. Dota? Possibly? Don't know what that is. That's, G-Man? Whatever. The creepy guy with the suitcase, briefcase. That's Gordon Freeman, right? With the crowbar. That's a Gangnam styling something. Not sure what. That's a scout from TF2. That is a Combine, I think they're called. No idea what that guy is. Head crab? Playing the... It's like the piano cat? That's also Dota. So yeah, I think this is the Dota character that rides on the thing. And it's the meme where the cat is looking like disgusted because people are insulting him. Not sure what that is. And that's the soldier from TF2. We could watch the video. How long is this video?
Thank you. That's it.
Sure.
That's the video. We had all of these creative ideas for what we could do.
I remember I watched this last. Their stuff is a little.
Just want to say thank you.
Little cringe.
Because of all of the gamers and publishers and developers that Steam even exists, and the feedback that you've given us and continue to give us is how we can work to make it better. So please enjoy this page that we made. It's for all of you.
I mean, honestly, the page is actually pretty cool.
As you can see, no idea is a bad idea, right? I mean, it is a brainstorm session. Oh, okay. There are bad ideas. So thank you.
Okay. A sexy Steam Deck, dude. Valve launched Steam on September 12th, 2003, and we're super proud. 2003, man, it's crazy. Super proud and incredibly grateful for what we've been able to do in the 20 years since. Steam's success is a direct result of the players and developers around the world who use it. Thought it'd be fun to look back at the top releases on Steam each year, many of which are on sale as part of the celebration, including all Valve titles. I think the sale might be over. Because it's not listed on the main page anymore, so... and added some fun facts for both Steam and pop culture in general, in art or text form, or both. But like, give us the same leeway you might with an aging grandparent. The date and facts below are as correct as our collectively aging memories will allow. Man, we're old. Anyway, if reading a novel wasn't what you had in mind during your free time, feel free to use the years menu to jump around to ones that interest you, and at least scroll to the end. We might have something in there that directs you to free stuff. Oh shit. Here's 2003, MySpace launches, which is crazy. I've heard a lot about MySpace. I've never even seen what MySpace looks like. Arnold Schwarzenegger becomes the governor of California. I've heard about that. And In the Club is the #1 song. I've never heard this song. Don't know what that is. Also entering the club that year, Steam on September 12th, 2003. That's crazy. We first announced Steam the previous year at the 2002 Game Developers Conference. I don't think that's a thing anymore. And at time of launch, we primarily use it to more easily deliver Valve game updates. So I guess it started as a launcher just for their games, right? This was early PC gaming, though, right? So it was probably a lot difficult to deliver updates. I mean, back then, were games still being sold on disc? I don't know. I don't know when the disc started being phased out, honestly. I'm too young to know the date for that. But because I feel like the disc was probably just starting to get phased out and stuff in like 2003, right? Like it wasn't like fully phased out yet. So they were just doing it as a way, like online updates were probably not that common. Whereas now, I mean, that's literally all you have. I mean, nobody has disk drives anymore. The ultimate goal, however, is to give any game developer a way to reach their players and build their audience directly. In March 2004, Counter-Strike Condition Zero is the first game we launch on Steam, and Half-Life 2 has its big debut on November 16th. That's crazy. In between these two releases, codenamed Gordon comes out in May as technically the first ever third-party release on Steam. Unfortunately, the game is eventually delisted, but still an important part of Steam's history. So I think this might be a mod that somebody created, like a fan-made thing. I don't know what it means by technically. I don't know what this is. I've never heard of this. Other fun facts from 2004, Facebook and the Motorola Razr launch. Not together, of course. Google goes public. The Numa kid hits it big in meme land. Never heard of this. Don't know what that is. Motorola Razr is a phone, I'm pretty sure. And Facebook was in 2004. That's crazy. Steam has been around longer than Facebook. That's actually nuts if you think about it. That Steam has actually been around longer than Facebook has. That's actually crazy. It looks like the sales are still going, actually. So top games released in 2004 are all Valve games, obviously. Half-Life 2, Counter-Strike, and regular Half-Life. Crazy. 2005, Valve launches Day of Defeat Source on September 26th. Just a few weeks later, Ragdoll Kung Fu is the first ever third-party game distributed on Steam, which is crazy. Now you may be saying to yourself, wait, those fools just told me it was codenamed Gordon in 2004. Oh, okay. You're correct. We are fools. That aside, we had a bit of an internal debate since Codename Gordon went away so soon after launching. The person authorizing this is a people pleaser, so she decided to include both and let the reader decide. What can I say except you're welcome? Am I right? Fucking meme. 2005 has some big pop cultures moments. YouTube is born. Steam is older than YouTube. Like, that's crazy. That's crazy if you think about it. Like, and they're actually still going well. Like, Steam is still actually making good changes and, like, being a force of good in terms of game development. Like, it's actually crazy. Like, I mean, it's kind of nuts. It's really nuts. Like, people hate on Steam. I really don't think they deserve the hate. I feel like Steam is genuinely, like, one of the forces of good when it comes to PC gaming. I mean, it has its issues, don't get me wrong. Like, it's not perfect, but nothing is, right? Like, I mean, they're not inherently evil, which is pretty fucking good when it comes to big corporates. You know what I mean? Like, that is a pretty good thing at the end of the day. Tom Cruise declares his love for Katie Holmes by jumping on Oprah's couch. No idea what that is. I was 4 years old. And Brad Pitt and Jennifer Aniston's relationship goes the way of the year's most popular meme, which is to say, boom goes the dynamite. I watched this video. I don't like old memes, man. The internet was just getting going because that was really not that entertaining. It was really cringe, but it was not that. That is not the year. Like, how would that be the year's most popular meme nowadays? It just wouldn't. It's just not entertaining enough. Which is kind of crazy. I know who Brad Pitt is. Don't know who Jennifer Aniston is. But then you got the top games released in 2005. Day of Defeat, Team Fortress Classic, Darwinia, which I actually own. I want to play this at some point. Ragdoll Kung Fu, which is the first third-party game, looks absolutely like a fever dream. No idea what the fuck that is. I've never heard of that game, but I doubt it has much like things around it other than the fact it was the first third-party game. Day of Defeat, so lots of Valve stuff still. I mean, Darwinia, I'm surprised. Like, I've seen this game around a little bit, but I didn't realize it was so old. And I mean, like, being one of the top games that wasn't a Valve game back then is pretty cool. Like, so I mean, I guess this was the first third-party game, but to be fair, that was probably like a big thing. It only has 49 user reviews. Oh, I guess these are selected though, so they're probably not based on numbers. They're probably selected. Because this is up there. Probably because they just mentioned it. 2006, Half-Life 2 Episode 1 launches a journey beyond City 17 on June 1st. Other notable happenings, Nintendo releases the Wii. I remember playing a Wii when I was a kid. That's crazy. Twitter introduced itself. It's older than Twitter by 3 years. It's 3 years older than Twitter. In 140 characters or less, which is good timing. I hate those 140 characters, by the way. I mean, there's more characters now, but dude, if I had to fucking use Twitter with 140 characters, I would literally have to send like a fucking, like, it would be like a scroll trying to read my fucking Twitter posts. You'd have to like keep scrolling down. All I know is X. Fuck me, dude. Terrible name. Which is good timing since Western Union officially discontinues all of its Telegram services a few weeks prior. Twitter is still a new thing to me. That's crazy. Yeah. It's weird, man. It's weird. Like, I really feel like time and death are like two things that human brains just can't comprehend. Like, we genuinely just like can't actually comprehend them. Like, if you sit there and think about it, I feel like our brains just like can't wrap our head around it. So they always have this weird like kind of fog to them where it's like things don't quite line up, if that makes sense. Like, it feels like something was so long ago, but it was so recent, or something was so like recent, but it was so long ago. Stuff like that. Like, it just doesn't quite work in our brains, I feel like, which is a strange thing. It's very strange. I mean, there is like probably explanations to it, but like, I think like it's just one of those things, which is strange. Another thing discontinued this year, Pluto's planet status. On August 24th, Pluto is demoted to dwarf planet. Womp womp. What's funny is that I remember when I was a kid, when I was very young, I learned that Pluto was a planet. But then I remember everybody was like, nope, Pluto's not a planet anymore. And I was like, but why? Why? Why is it not a planet? And it was very confusing because you learned this thing and then you had to unlearn it, which was kind of a pain in the ass. But I do remember that. And then we got the most popular games in 2006. Gary's Mod. God, Gary's Mod's fucking old. People still love that shit too. Sin Episodes Emergence. Don't know what this is. DEF CON, which I really would like to play, but I think this is more of a multiplayer game, but it looks like a fun one. We've got Dark Messiah of Might and Magic, which is on my wish list. Red Orchestra. I think I've played this actually a long time ago. Call of Duty 2. The Ship Murder Party, which is a classic, honestly. I feel like most people know about The Ship. X3, which I own all these games. I don't know much about them at all, though. I've never heard anybody talk about them, but I know that they're old. And Total War Medieval 2, hell yeah. Pretty cool. Another Half-Life 2 Episode 1. Oh yeah, I have known nothing about this. Sin Episodes Emergence. Don't know anything about that. 2007. Holy crap, Valve is busy on Steam this year. We launched Portal, Team Fortress 2, and Half-Life Episode 2 as part of the Orange Box, which is like a bundle on Steam. Crazy. Portal and Team Fortress 2. Like, absolute, like goats of gaming. Like, crazy that those released in the same year. Like, fucking 14 years ago? Is that right? No. 16 years ago. We also host the first ever major Steam sale. 10 to 50% off everything in December for the holidays. Wow. Oh, wait, I guess actually, to be fair, it's 10 to 50% off everything. Like, genuinely everything was 10 to 50% off. That's crazy. Nowadays, they contact developers. I'm not sure if they did that before. But they contact developers, and the developers choose the discounts, right? Lots of milestones happening off of Steam, too. Or off of Steam as well. Apple launches the very first iPhone. That's crazy. Like, it's crazy to me to look at this stuff and see, because, like, I was too young to really conceptualize that these things were new. Because when I got old enough to learn about these things, it was just, oh, yep, iPhone. They've been making iPhones for ages. Twitter's always been a thing. Facebook's always been a thing. You know what I mean? Like, that's just, like, it's just old stuff. Like, Netflix has always been a thing. But in reality, these things were, like, very new. Like, they were still in, like, their first couple years. That's crazy. Smartphone who dat, yeah. Keyboard Cat is one of several memes of the moment. Keyboard Cat, hell yeah. Top games released in 2007, BioShock, the original BioShock, Hitman Blood Money, absolute classics, Team Fortress 2, another classic, Company of Heroes, another classic, Portal as well, Call of Duty Modern Warfare, Trackmania United Forever, don't know much about that one, but I know Trackmania overall is a classic, but I'm not sure if this entry was specifically noteworthy. And then Half-Life Episode 2, like, God, some good fucking games in 2007, apparently. November of this year, 2008, marks the release of Left 4 Dead, another fucking classic. Also in 2008, we introduced Steamworks as a set of tools and services for developers and publishers to build their games and get the most out of distributing on Steam. Steam Cloud arrives this year as well, allowing developers a way to save their game files remotely and giving players access to their saved games on Steam servers from any computer. Big things, man. Big things. Other fun things that introduced themselves in 2008, Android phones, September 23rd, Airbnb, and the first movie in the Twilight Saga. Hell yeah. I did not realize that Airbnb was like a website. I thought an Airbnb was just a term, but I guess it's like kind of like how you think of like a brand as like just that object is like the brand name is just the name of that object. Kind of like how British people call vacuums Hoovers just in general. Even though Hoover was a brand, I'm pretty sure. Or maybe it's not actually. Maybe it's just a Henry Hoover. I'm pretty sure Hoover in general is a brand though, but I could be wrong. It's such a strange because we just call them vacuums. Call them vacuums. Although vacuum might be a brand, who knows? Audio Surf 2008. Wow, that shit's old. Shit's old. Far Cry 2, Fallout 3, Call of Duty World at War. People like World at War a lot. Stalker Clear Sky, Unreal Tournament 3, Left 4 Dead, Crisis Warhead, GTA 4. Definitely some classics mixed in with some old games that people still have fond memories of, I feel like. Pretty cool. Pretty cool. 2009, Left 4 Dead 2 comes out in November. Only a year later. That's kind of crazy. I'm surprised that they released it just a year later. because people would have had to buy it again. But Left 4 Dead 2 has everything that Left 4 Dead 1 has, basically. Like, there's no reason to play Left 4 Dead 1, really. Right in time for the holidays, huh? No, get it? Great. More evidence for this is why we asked you to try and not be funny feedback one might want to prepare to receive from one's coworkers. Should said coworkers notice that line. Very funny. Very funny. Moving on, in December, the movie Avatar premieres, goes on to become the highest grossing movie of all time, introducing an innovative filmmaking technology to boot. I remember watching this movie when I was a kid, actually, and I liked the movie. It's crazy to me that it's the highest grossing movie of all time, though. It still kind of blows my mind. Like, still kind of blows my mind that it's the highest grossing movie of all time. But I do know that back then, like, that, like, CGI and, like, the effects and everything was, like, just like the production stuff was like crazy high quality for the era, right? But I mean, the story and everything wasn't that great, right? Never watched it, probably not ever going to. It's not like, the story's very basic. Like, I think it's a good movie, but it's not a great movie. I don't think it deserves the money. I think it just kind of hit one of those like that special kind of concoction of things mixed up to make it great, like in the box office. But I don't think it's like a great movie. I think it's a good movie. Like, it looks very visually like good. Obviously back then it looked amazing because of like the time frame, but it looks visually good. The story's pretty basic, but I mean it delivers it. Like, it's pretty like cookie cutter story. But I think it's like an entertaining watch. But I wouldn't say it's like one of the greatest movies of all time or anything. Definitely not. But it's a good movie, I'd say. Warhammer 40,000, Dawn of War 2. So it's like an RTS. I don't know how popular this is, really. Modern Warfare 2. Definitely a popular one. Left 4 Dead 2 is a fucking... I mean, people still play the shit out of that. Aeon. Don't know what this is, actually. Borderlands. Hell yeah. Fucking 2009 Borderlands. Killing Floor, which is a classic. Some people really like this. The first Torchlight game. Dragon Age Origins, which might be the first Dragon Age game, and Fear, which is another like well-liked game. Oh yeah. 2010, Steam adds Mac OS support. We also launched Steam Play to support Linux users. Sorry. Steam Wallet and the TF2 in-game store comes out in 2010 as well. Also in 2010, Apple launches the iPad. Instagram debuts. God, Instagram is only 13 years old. That's crazy. And Lady Gaga wears a dress made entirely of meat to the MTV Video Music Awards in September. Real meat. Raw meat. I've heard all about this Lady Gaga thing, right? But I've never actually seen this. I'll have to look up some images after. Or somebody can post it in the Discord. I kind of like have always heard about it, and I assumed that this picture is also meant to be a meat dress. I'm not sure what this picture is meant to be. I assumed that it was real meat, but I never really conceptualized the idea that it was actual meat, because like, that's fucking gross. Like, it was a mess stunt. Yeah, I mean, it's obviously, it's just a stunt for publicity. I mean, but it's still kind of crazy, though. It's still kind of crazy. I would like to just see what it looked like, at least, though. Because, like, it sounds fucking gross just trying to imagine it. Top games released in 2010. So this is 13 years ago. Mafia 2. Which the Mafia games, I think, are loved by some, but like, they're not like crazy popular, I don't think, nowadays. Fallout New Vegas, which people fucking adore the shit out of. BioShock 2, another crazy good game. Just Cause 2, people adore the shit out of that. Civ 5, again, a fucking absolute classic. Call of Duty Black Ops, I would say also a classic. Bad Company 2, also a classic. Medal of Honor, I think people liked this game, but I think it's definitely fallen off nowadays. Mass Effect, also another fucking like OG. And Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 multiplayer. I'm not sure why that's important, because Modern Warfare 2 launched the year before, but I don't know. I guess they launched it, I'm not sure. 2011, Portal 2 launches in April. On Steam, we add screenshots and Steam Guard, an additional level of security players can apply to their account. With Steam Workshop, we introduced a centralized place for player-created content and tools to download that content into games. Steam Workshop is fucking amazing. Like, people do not give Steam Workshop the credit it deserves. Like, it is so fucking good. Like, it is amazing. The things that it, like, gives games that are, like, moddable. Like, it gives you so, like, the fact that you can just open up the workshop, click a button, and just have it in your game is fucking amazing. Like, it's fucking amazing. Dude, when I was a kid, and I was, like, 10 to 12, I tried to mod Minecraft. Yo, that shit was fucking hell. Like, that was hell. Okay, nowadays, I could probably do it. Back then, fuck me, that was difficult. It was awful. Trying to figure out how to do that shit was actually pain. But with the workshop, just click a button. Boom, you're done. Like, it's so nice for people who aren't that, it's so nice to share mods with people. It's so nice for people to, like, it gives people an entry level into game design as well with the modding stuff, because it's so easy for them to create stuff that they're passionate about and then share it with people. You know what I mean? Like, it's so easy. They're just like, oh, I want to create this thing for a game I love. Boom, they make it, they share it with people, people love it. They're, you know, they're incentivized to keep doing it. They're incentivized to keep doing it and, like, progress themselves. And some of those people become game developers. Like, it's Steam Workshop is crazy. And it definitely, I feel like people just think it's, like, commonplace now, but, like, really, like, if you think about it, it's crazy, like, how, like, I don't think there's really anything like Steam Workshop out there. Like, it's kind of nuts. It's kind of nuts. Other fun things in 2011, the debuts of Minecraft, which I played. I did not realize that it, I guess I played the beta, actually. I guess that it's not counting the beta. Because Minecraft was around a little bit before that. Snapchat, which is crazy that Snapchat's only fucking 12 years old. Game of Thrones as well, which is crazy to me that came out then. Harry Potter rules the worldwide box office with Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows Part 2. And the royal marriage of England's Prince William and Kate Middleton, which I did hear about when I was a kid, a whole bunch of, for some reason. And the end of a pop culture era as Oprah Winfrey hosts the final episode of her talk show after 25 seasons. I've heard about the Oprah Winfrey talk show, but I've never seen it because obviously I have no interest in it. But that's crazy to went for 25 seasons. We got Dawn of War 2 Retribution. I mean, I guess people really like this Dawn of War. I don't hear much about it, to be fair, but I guess people really like it. Terraria, which is that fucking... I love Terraria. I played this in 2011. It was the first game I ever bought on Steam. This is when I started using Steam, actually, 2011. Towards the end of 2011, I was using Steam, which is crazy. Super cool. Skyrim, like, that's crazy. Skyrim came out that year. Modern Warfare 3 came out that year. Rift, which is an MMO. I guess it was quite popular at the time. I think it was like a decently popular MMO, but it's kind of died off now. I mean, I don't think anybody plays it really. Magicka, which is a super fun game, actually. Definitely very satirical, doesn't take itself seriously, and it's got really cool game mechanics with the spells and stuff. I think it's still a fun little play, honestly, especially with some friends. Portal 2, which is, I mean, undeniably a classic. And Total War Shogun 2, which is pretty cool. 2012, Counter-Strike Global Offensive, the 4th in the Counter-Strike series launch. That's crazy that Counter-Strike has been around for... I only started playing it in 2016, I think. 2016, I think, is when I first played CSGO. January 2016. It was on this computer was the first time I played it. It was after I built this computer, I played it for the first time. Wait, no, it can't have been 2016 then. Was it? Is this computer fucking 7 years old? No. Is it? No. Not 2016. Maybe it was. Fuck me. It might have been. It actually might have been. This computer is fucking old as shit. Man, I've gotten good value out of this computer. I spent $1,000 on this computer when I built it. It was a lot of money for a fucking teenager. But it has lasted me a long fucking time. So I got some value out of it, and I've taken care of it. So it's lasted me a long fucking time. And I mean, it's still good. I mean, I definitely have had some problems with it, but like it restarting recently has caused issues. But it's like that goes away because like you guys remember around the start of this year, it was like restarting all the fucking time. Now it's not doing it at all. Hasn't done it in like 6 months, not once. I really don't know what causes that. It'll just come back at some point. It'll just happen again. It happens every now and then, and it's just like it just happens for like a month straight, and then it just goes away and doesn't come back for like ages. It's super weird. I don't know what it is. Anyways, we introduced Steam Greenlight in 2012. I really miss Greenlight. I really do. I think Steam Greenlight was a great way to get people to get the community to interact with games that weren't on Steam and like new concepts and stuff. And I also feel like Steam was way better curated back then. They said that in an attempt to streamline the way titles came to Steam, but ultimately find a better way to do that and phase it out with Steam Direct. I don't know what Steam Direct is, but I don't know. I feel like Greenlight might have been better. I'd have to look into Steam Direct to really confidently say that, but I do miss Greenlight, but I'm not sure. I'm not really sure what the problems with Greenlight were. I didn't look into it enough, but I really liked Greenlight. I thought it was a good system. But I don't know. Steam Community and Steam Community Market both came to beta in 2012. Steam's Big Picture mode gives players a way to pair their PC with a TV controller. I assume that Big Picture mode's actually useful, but the only thing that I fucking know about Big Picture mode is that I accidentally fucking click the button sometimes, and it's a fucking pain to close out of. That's all I know. That's the only thing that I know about Big Picture mode. The Community Market, though, is fucking sick. It definitely, I think it definitely paved the way for microtransactions in video games as well, and like cosmetic skins and stuff. But I mean, it is a good like system, and the fact that people, I mean, Steam does take a good cut of all the money, but it's still cool. It's still a cool concept. 2012, the launches of Oculus VR, the first VR, right? Which is crazy. 2012. Slack, which I don't know what that is, and Tesla. And Grumpy Cat becomes a legend. Hell yeah, Grumpy Cat. Far Cry 3, absolutely legendary game. People love that. Max Payne 3, cool game. The Walking Dead Telltale, literally like pretty legendary. Borderlands 2, I would say pretty legendary. I think, well, maybe not legendary, but definitely a fucking classic. I think Borderlands 2 was. They really did that one well. I don't think Borderlands 1 or pre-sequel or 3 are really classics, but Borderlands 2, I would say, is actually a classic. I think they really did a good job with Borderlands 2. I think that game is one of the greats. Torchlight 2. It's also a pretty classic game. Maybe not a classic overall, but Torchlight is a classic series. They did release a new one, right? Torchlight. Well, I guess it was Torchlight 3. There's also Torchlight Infinite, which I don't know if that's related. I don't think it actually is. But it's like a similar style of game, and it's called Torchlight. Maybe it is related. I'm not sure. Call of Duty Black Ops 2. I didn't like Black Ops 2 personally. I remember playing it. I did not like it, but I think some people did. XCOM, Enemy Unknown, absolute legendary game. Dishonored, also. People love that one a lot. And Counter-Strike, which is also, I mean, like, Counter-Strike's still going strong. I mean, they're doing CS2 now, right? But still going strong. 2013, Dota 2 officially launches, which is pretty cool. Steam adds features that include trading cards. I like the trading cards, but a lot of people hate them. But family sharing, which is a pretty cool thing, and some people use it a lot. Players' reviews, plus begins to offer the option for developers to launch games in early access. God. Early access. This is when it started. Player reviews, though, hell yeah. That's a big thing. People being able to write what they think about games and stuff. And being able to review games. I guess that's crazy. They only had reviews in 2013. They went 10 years without reviews? That's nuts. Crazy. Also in 2013, Frozen debuts and goes on to become the #1 movie of the year worldwide. It also means that this is the year Let It Go was stuck in everyone's head. Fuck's sake. I've never seen that movie, and I never will. Top games released in 2013, Dota 2. Hell yeah, I really want to play Dota at some point. DayZ, which was, I mean, sadly, DayZ nowadays, pretty good, actually. And genuinely one of the best survival games out there. But, the launch of DayZ was a fucking shit show. Like, it was bad. And the following years, it was a major disappointment. Nowadays, I feel like they've actually done good. And that, like, I like playing DayZ and watching DayZ, it genuinely is like one of the best survival games on the market, in my opinion. Like, genuinely it is. But it is very boring sometimes. Very boring. But like when it comes to the survival aspects, I really think it's literally the best game on the market. It's crazy, like the survival aspects of it. Feels like the player reviews haven't been around that long. Yeah, I can't imagine. I literally don't remember a time without them. So I just feel like they've always been there. So that's crazy. It's just like that's just like the way the brain works, right? You just get used to things. Like you think of it as the norm, right? Arma 3, which I mean people still like, this has like crazy community based stuff, like content, servers, that kind of stuff. 2018, yeah. Early access for 5 years. I mean, it did say this is the year it started to offer the option for early access. Payday 2, which people really love. I'm not a big fan of Payday, but people really like Payday. Fair enough. Kerbal Space Program, really cool game. People who like this kind of stuff. This game is definitely like a classic. Call of Duty Ghosts, which I think, I don't know how this one was. Who is that? Is that Megan Fox? Is that who that is? I feel like I recognize her, but I'm not sure. Age of Empires 2, which, I mean, Age of Empires is a classic series. Crazy. Total War Rome 2? Warframe. It's crazy that Warframe's still going. That's crazy. I did not realize Warframe was 10 years old. That's really cool, actually. That is really cool. People really love Warframe, and honestly, the dev team behind it seem really passionate, and like they actually care about the game and the community, from what I've seen, and from what people say. So, Warframe's pretty cool. I have played it a bit, but not as much as I would like. I'd like to actually give it more of a try at some point. Saints Row 4, which we actually played recently, very recently, last month. So it's kind of funny to see it there. It's the F to pay respects meme, but it's a soldier. That's funny. Steam releases the Discovery update. Hell yeah! Overhauling quite a few features in a bid to make it easier for players to connect with games and vice versa. That was 9 years ago, the Discovery queue, man. This is also the year Steam gets in-home streaming and broadcasting feature, and we release Steam VR for the Oculus Rift and expand it to other headsets in subsequent years. I don't know enough about VR, but I assume that the Steam VR stuff is quite good. Like, but I don't know because I've never done anything with that. And the in-home streaming and broadcasting, I've never really interacted with that either. So I don't know. Other tidbits from 2014: Amazon's Alexa is born. But don't say that out loud unless you wish to summon her. The Ice Bucket Challenge circles the planet in the name of raising awareness and funds for ALS. Oh yeah, the Ice Bucket Challenge, dude, that shit was crazy. That was like such a big trend. Also, Alexa, dude, they advertise Alexa as being so smart. I've interacted with Alexa before. She is not. She's really stupid. Like, it's actually a really stupid AI. Like, it is not good at its job. Well, its job is to sell you things, which it is actually good at. But not for anything else. Watch Dogs, which is what we're currently playing, actually. Watch Dogs was a big hit when it first came out. Well, it wasn't a big hit, to be fair. It faced a lot of negative response on release because of the graphics and possibly optimization stuff as well. But people felt a bit like they got debated, got robbed, got scammed, that kind of thing with the graphics. But I think most people, like, as that kind of died down, people agree that it's like a good game and it, went over well in terms of the game. South Park: A Stick of Truth, which is also pretty popular. People people like this game. I've seen people play this game, and if you're into South Park stuff, it seems like a pretty cool game, actually, genuinely. Like, if you're into the South Park style of humor, you're into the references, you watch a lot of South Park, I genuinely think this is actually a really good game. But if you're not into that kind of stuff, you're not going to really enjoy it that much. Middle-earth Shadow of Mordor, which is a fucking classic. Call of Duty Advanced Warfare, which is, I mean, I don't know. I don't think that, I mean, they're Call of Duty games, so they always make the list, but I don't think Advanced Warfare was very good. Can never sit through anything South Park. Oh, that sucks. 3,451 games discovered a year. God damn. How many is that a day? That's 100 a day, right? Wait, what? How are you doing 100 a day? Do you, how, what the fuck? How are you doing 100 a day? 10 a day. Oh, okay. Is it really only 10 a day? Okay, 10 a day is not that bad then. Actually, that's pretty reasonable. Because you get 12 in a queue. So you're just doing your queue every day when it generates it for you. That's pretty respectable. I respect that. I respect that. I thought it was 100 a day. My math is terrible. 10 a day makes a lot more sense. 100 a day, I mean, at that point you might need help. At that point you might need help. Civ Beyond Earth, which I think kind of went over badly, and it still has mixed reviews, which isn't ideal, but people were really excited for a new Civ game, and I think this one kind of dropped the ball a little bit and disappointed people. Dark Souls 2, people fucking absolute classic. I don't think Dark Souls 2 gets talked about as much as 3 or 1, but I still think people really like it. Like, it's not a bad game. Was it 10 a day? Yeah, that's fair. So a little bit less than 10 a day. That's fair. Banished, which apparently is like a very good city builder colony simulator kind of thing. I don't think there's anything too unique about it, but people seem to like it. Borderlands the pre-sequel, which in my opinion is actually a good game. I don't think it's like a classic like Borderlands 2, but I actually think it's one of the better Borderlands games. Like, genuinely. I think pre-sequel is up there as like one of the top 3. I haven't played Wonderlands, to be fair, but pre-sequel is actually a good game in my opinion. People really hated on pre-sequel when it came out. I remember, as a Borderlands like fan, I remember people hating on pre-sequel a lot. That's because people were disappointed that it wasn't Borderlands 3. They were like, they played it and they're like, oh, it's Borderlands 3, and they're like, oh, but it's just the same fucking game with just like slightly different stuff. And it's like, it's not Borderlands 3. It's Borderlands the pre-sequel. It's like Borderlands 2.5. Like, it's like, it is a full game though. That's the thing. A lot of people are like, oh, it's like a DLC. It's not a DLC. Like, it is a full game. Like, there is a lot of new stuff in it. The story is really cool, actually. I think the story is like really good. Like the pre-sequel stuff, I think they did really well. But people were just, they wanted Borderlands 3, and then when they didn't get what they want, they were just fucking mad about it for no reason. Even though the game itself is still actually good. There's nothing wrong with the game. It's just not what they wanted, so they got mad. Dark Souls 2 is a controversial game in the series. Souls fans will argue to the death over whether it's an objectively bad game or one of, if not the best Souls game. Gotcha. Fair enough. Divinity Original Sin, it says classic there. It is a classic, though. This definitely, I think, started a trend of these games being pretty popular. And, they are, like, kind of niche in a sense, but they're niche in the sense that, like, they are the only games like them, basically. Like, they are masterpieces. The Return of the CRPG, hell yeah. With Baldur's Gate 3, though, Baldur's Gate 3 has had a lot of popularity, though, so it's showing that they're not so niche, you know what I mean? Like, there's a lot of people who are interested in these types of games if they're done well, and obviously Larian Studios is doing them well, so cool to see. It's cool to see. Far Cry 4, I think this is a really good game. I think Far Cry 4 might be one of the objectively like better Far Cry games before it, started to go downhill a little bit. I think that after Far Cry 4 it might be a little bit downhill from there. And I do feel like Far Cry nowadays is kind of one of those things that just turns out a sequel every now and then, like every couple years. It's just like, oh, new Far Cry game, it's the same shit, you know what I mean? But I think Far Cry 4 was good. You haven't played 3, right? Yeah, I think 3 is the best from what I've heard, and I respect people's opinion on that, even though I haven't played it. But I would say Far Cry 4 is the second best from what I've heard, but I haven't played the rest. I don't think 2 and 1 have actually held up to nowadays standards. Like, they've kind of aged poorly, just because they're old. You know what I mean? But I think Far Cry 4 and 3 are still good games. I do want to play 3 though. It is on the wheel. It is on the wheel, so we will play it sometime soon. 2015, Steam adds a hardware section in support of Steam Controller, Steam Link, and Steam Machine. Hey, that reminds me, 2015 is when Steam Machine launches. I don't know anything about these things because I don't use them, but most of Steam's like software is quite good. So Steam Refunds arrives this year, which their refunds are actually quite considerate. You get to, I mean, I think it's 2 hours. Like, you can literally buy any game on Steam and play it for like less than 2 hours. I mean, don't cite me on this. Don't go out and do it just based on my info. Go and look at it. But from what I know, you can literally just play any game you want, and as long as you don't play more than 2 hours, you can just refund it and get all your money back. And it's like an automated system. The refund speedrun begins. Hell yeah. 2015 also marks the... there is probably some rules to the refunds, like you can't buy and refund the same game over and over again. Free trial for every game. Yeah, I mean, honestly, it's not even a bad system, though, because, like, 2 hours is not that long. Like, unless it's, like, a very short game, you're not going to beat it in 2 hours. You know what I mean? Like, unless it's, like, a short kind of, like, one of those, like, small indie games, you're not going to beat it in 2 hours. And you're going to want to play the rest if you enjoy it. And if you don't enjoy it, then you get your money back. Which, I mean, like, so kind of, like, having stuff like this, having refunds like that, forces people to actually make a good product. Because if you don't make a good product, then they'll just refund it. You know what I mean? So it's like, stuff like this is a good thing overall. But obviously it can hurt companies if they don't make good things. But if they aren't making good things, should they really be making money? I don't know. People have different opinions on that. 2015 also marks the launch of the Source 2 engine, and Dota 2 becomes the first game to use it that September when we port it in its entirely over from Source 1. Wow, that's crazy. Source 2 engine. I don't know what else is on the Source 2 engine. That's crazy that they ported it in its entirety. That would have been an undertaking. That's crazy. In unrelated news, the internet loses its mind over whether the dress is blue or gold. Oh my god, I remember this. Fuck me, dude. The fucking blue or gold dress thing. People are fucking stupid. It's crazy that that became such a big thing. If you haven't heard about that, you should look it up. It's funny. And Left Shark outshines Katy Perry in her Super Bowl halftime performance. Please don't make us talk about the game itself that year. We are headquartered in Seattle, and that was a rough one. Oh, no. Was it blue or gold, though? Blue. I don't remember. I can't remember. I definitely had a stance. I feel like I thought blue, too, but I can't remember exactly. Can't remember. Question mark? Why are we question marking? I'm pretty sure it was blue. I don't think it was gold, from what I remember. You can post an image in the chat. I can't remember what it was. It was like the light reflected off it a certain way or something like that. And it made it look different colors. Grand Theft Auto 5 released in 2015. Crazy. Absolutely crazy. I'm not sure why they put such a weird discount. This is genuinely one of the GOATs of gaming. It is really, really good. Like, the single player is out of this world. It really is. At least I think it is. And most people would agree. Elite Dangerous, which I do not think gets enough credit. I think that the people who talk about this game talk about it's like it's fucking amazing. And not enough people talk about it, I feel like. But it does have 68,000 reviews, which is quite a lot. But still, I'm surprised that... I don't know, you don't feel like... I feel like I don't hear that many people talk about this game, but it looks like a lot of people have reviewed it and played it and stuff. But I feel like it doesn't get talked about enough. But I guess it's a bit old now. City Skylines, which is probably one of the best city builders out there. I have played City Skylines, though, and I know people are going to hate me for this, but I think it's quite boring unless you buy DLC, which is kind of how Paradox works. That's how they fucking build their games. But, like, I feel like it's quite boring. like after I built one city, I think I built 2 cities, and there was a little bit of variance on the second one because there was I had learned a bit more about the game and I was able to do it better. And there was a couple of different options in terms of like power, and I was next to the water, so I could do some water-based stuff. But then after that, it just like I tried to make a third city, and I was just like, this is literally just the same thing I just did. Like, there's literally nothing different happening. So I feel like unless you buy DLCs, it just gets a bit stale. But it is a really good city builder. Like it is one of the best city builders out there. But they are making a second one soon. But I do think they expect you to buy DLC to keep playing, honestly. Black Ops 3, which some people really love, I wasn't a big fan of. But I mean, it's got very positive reviews, so apparently it was better compared to the other Call of Duties. Ark, which people fucking adore this game. People, like, love this game to death. I don't like this game. I think it's quite boring, not that interesting, but people fucking love it, man. I'll have to... I want to give it, like, an actual try at some point, but I do not like this game from what I've seen. I've played it briefly, I think, but people fucking love Ark, man. It's getting its own fucking TV series, I think. It's crazy. Just Survive, which is this H1Z1? This is, right? I'm pretty sure this is H1Z1. But it's the survival version of H1Z1. I'm not sure how that works. I think it's H1Z1. I'm not sure. H1Z1's it has a weird history. It like came out, they split it into the King of the Hill and the survival, then like it like kind of died off, then they brought it back. It was like a bit of a mess. Killing Floor 2, which is a pretty cool game, actually. I think it does have like pretty niche following that seems to love Killing Floor. Metal Gear Solid 5, The Phantom Pain, which is a fucking goat. H1Z1. H1Z1. Fallout 4, which is a fucking goat as well. People love Fallout 4 a lot. Rocket League, which, I mean, I feel like Rocket League is one of those games that you just hear people mention every now and then, and they're just like, I love Rocket League. And you just like hear it in passing and you don't think anything of it. But like, dude, people fucking love Rocket League. Like, people love it, man. It is like got tons of players. It's been around for, 8 years now. People still love it. Like, and it's done a good job. It's done a good job. I don't think they've done anything to change the gameplay. I think it's literally the same gameplay it's been for 8 years. But the skill cap on that game, the skill ceiling is crazy. Like, you can get very, very good. So, adding cars to soccer doesn't make soccer more interesting. Don't at me. It's the skill, I think, that makes people play the shit out of it. It's the skill and satisfaction. Everyone knows at least one person who's constantly playing Rocket League. Abso-fucking-lutely. Yeah. Like, if you're into gaming, you have one friend who loves Rocket League. Like, you just do. Like, it's crazy. People love that game. I don't like it. I actually don't like Rocket League. I find it very boring to play. I don't enjoy it. But I'm not saying it's a bad game. Like, personally, I don't like it, but it's obviously a very good game. And I think the skill is really what makes it fun for people. Like, just that kind of, like, constant getting better. I don't know a single person who's ever even played it. Really? That's crazy. That's crazy. Like, I don't know. I feel like I'm always hearing about like that one friend who plays Rocket League. People love it. People love it. I have somebody I know who has like 3,000 hours or some shit. Age difference thing. Yeah, that could be true. Yeah. It could be a younger age thing. That is true. First annual Steam Awards happened on December 31st after opening nominations during the Steam Autumn Sale and voting during the Winter Sale. Hell yeah, Steam Awards. I might have taken part in every Steam Awards. I probably missed one or two. I like the Steam Awards a lot. I think Steam Awards are really cool. And it kind of like gets communities together a little bit. Steam Awards are actually really cool, I think. 2016 is also a big year in VR for us. We team up with HTC to release the HTC Vive headset. In April, we launched The Lab as a minigame of sorts that lets players experiment within a pocket universe of aperture science at room scale. Hell yeah. I think people my age probably only play it if they're stoners. Oh, no. People our age play it if they're stoners, too. That doesn't change. The stoner part doesn't change. I think more people just play it. It is definitely kind of a stoner game. Which isn't a bad thing. It's not a bad thing. It's just a thing. In 2016, Nintendo introduces Pokemon Go, which, dude, that thing fucking swept the nation. Pokemon Go, a nation, even like the fucking world, honestly. Like, people love Pokemon Go. It was crazy. Nowadays, definitely not as many people playing it, but crazy how many people played it. And TikTok launches, hell yeah. I don't know any stoners anymore, so it's pertinent. Yeah, it's fine. That's fair. That's fair. TikTok has only been out for fucking 7 years. That's crazy. That's crazy. I think of TikTok as like an old thing. But to be fair, TikTok replaced Vine, right? That's really what happened. Because Vine was a thing. It shut down for some reason. I can't remember why. And then TikTok filled the gap where people wanted that same style of content. And then YouTube Shorts was created to like kind of cash in on that as well. Because they're like, hey, people like that style of video content. We're a video site. Why not make that content available here? Big money. You know what I mean? Which is exactly what happened. Pokemon Go was a fucking fever dream. It was. It was crazy how many people got into it. Like, bro, literally everybody was playing it. It was like, it was one of those crazy things where it was like, it was crazy to see the whole world be so like connected around something. Like, it was crazy that information, like, it really showed the power of the internet and like the power that like everybody can just be interested in this like one thing, like the power of widespread information. Like, it was crazy. Like, just, it was crazy. Like, it genuinely was just like, it felt like everybody, like just everybody you talked to, everybody you knew was playing or knew about Pokemon Go. Like, it was crazy how crazy it was. I mean, maybe, you know, because I am a gamer, I am in that circle, you know what I mean? But like, it felt like it was more than a circle, you know what I mean? It felt like it was like the majority of people were into it for some reason. It was wild. Wild. It also is a year where the internet proves itself to be the thoughtfully creative group of people we know it to be by choosing Bodie McBoatface as the name of a polar research ship. I've never heard about that. Now, we're not going to blame anyone, but it should be pointed out that England's National Environment Research Council asked the internet for the best name it could think of, and the internet was just giving an honest answer. I didn't hear about this. That's funny as fuck, though. That is really funny. Though the council basically says no thanks, we'll take it from here, and names it the RRS Sir David Attenborough. They do admit Bodie McBoatface is just too good a name to go to waste, and bestows the name upon one of the underwater vehicles aboard the Attenborough. What the fuck? Bodie McBoatface? Like, what the fuck? That's a great name. What's wrong with that? What's wrong with that? Oh, okay, there's H1Z1 Battle Royale. Okay, so Just Survive, that was the base game, and then they launched the Battle Royale the year after, yeah, in 2016. Okay, so this is before all the weird shit went down with H1Z1. Civilization 6, which, from what I remember, started off really rocky, but then people, like, they've tuned it up over the years and actually made it good. But it started off really rocky and disappointing for people, because obviously they've been playing fucking Civ 5 for the last, like, 6 or 7 years, and they were excited for Civ 6, especially with how bad Beyond Earth was. And then Civ 6 came out and it was a bit of a shit show, but they have actually made it good now, and apparently it's actually pretty good. Rise of the Tomb Raider, which is honestly pretty fucking classic game. I think like that game is actually pretty good. When I remember watching people play it, it was very good. And well, honestly, all the Tomb Raider series, the newer ones, are actually pretty good. I mean, I think they're more of the same after the first one, but they do a good job. So Dead by Daylight releases in 2016, still going strong as well. I mean, Dead by Daylight, as much as it has its issues, it is very good at being what it is and unique. And there isn't really anything else that, you know, scratches that itch. So it does a good job. The problem is that it really caters to casual people, and if you're not a casual person, you are going to get frustrated with DBD, in my opinion. Or you can't just like not take it seriously. If you aren't in that mindset, you're not going to have fun with DBD after a while. Like, there's going to be that grace period where you're having a good time, that honeymoon period. But then after you start learning about the game more, you play more, you get into the higher MMR where people aren't just having fun anymore, and people are having to play sweaty to actually be able to have fun. It gets to be a bit of a shit show because the devs don't care about that part of the game. They only care about the casual, the chill people who aren't taking it very seriously. So it's just a natural consequence of that. Stellaris, which people really seem to love Stellaris. It's been around for, I mean, it's released in 2016, and I still see people playing it. And it's like quite popular, right? I'm not big into 4X games, but supposedly it's good. I really don't know much about this game, to be fair. Hearts of Iron 4 as well. People really love that kind of grand strategy, this stuff. People really love Hearts of Iron 4. I still see people playing this as well. People who are into that kind of niche, like really nitty-gritty strategy stuff. Kind of the same with Stellaris. So 2 very, very popular strategy games released that year. Dark Souls 3, which again is a fucking like absolute classic. Stardew Valley, which is also a classic. The Year of No Man's Lie. Crazy. The game I can't recommend to anyone that I love the most. Yeah, that's perfectly fair. I think everybody has a game like that, right? No Man's Sky. God, that was an event. That was a gaming event when that game came out. I genuinely think, I haven't played it myself, but I genuinely think from everything I've heard, they actually have made this game good now, and it is worth a try if you are into that whole open world sci-fi kind of stuff, open world like survival crafting sci-fi stuff. Supposedly it's actually good now, and they haven't like obviously delivered on everything they promised originally, because that would be kind of impossible, but they've actually like improved the game quite a lot, and made it better and stuck to it, which I think that's something that's really commendable in my opinion, and that needs to be kind of commended more in gaming, is when these companies actually stick through with something, especially if they're not charging for the updates they're giving, like stuff like DayZ, right? Stuff like No Man's Sky. I'm pretty sure No Man's Sky hasn't charged for anything. Like that, at that point you're not doing it for money. You know what I mean? Like they're not doing it to make money. They're doing it because they care about their product. Like, yes, they want people to buy it, but it would be easier for them to just not keep trying. You know what I mean? It'd be easier for them to just give up. So it's really commendable when games actually stick it through, and I think that stuff needs to be like rewarded more. The problem is that people get an idea about something and then they don't shake it. They don't change their mind. Stuff like Battlefront 2 in 2017 really suffered from that, right? Like people heard about all the loot boxes and the big controversy about that. Is it deserved? Absolutely. But the problem is they went back on it and they changed it and they made it good eventually. But the ship has already sunk. You know what I mean? And I think that thankfully No Man's Sky hasn't really fallen victim to that as much, because it's not as bad with like the whole like predatory loot boxes, because like the loot box thing kind of surpassed gaming circles from what I remember. Like the 2017 Battlefront 2, like that surpassed gaming circles. That went to like mainstream media. Like, hey, this game is like actively encouraging gambling. Like, it was pretty bad. And so that game definitely, the ship sunk basically, which is kind of sad because the game actually was good. Like it was a good game. So it was really disappointing. So I played it when it came out for what it was there. It was honestly fine. Just exploration for exploration's sake. Obviously, they promised a fuck of a lot more than that, though. Yeah. Like, I really think that the No Man's Sky thing is just a testament to just, like, a bit of, like, kind of publishers and the corporate behind them, and also people just not wanting to, like, dull down the hype. You know what I mean? Because, like, I don't think the developer, I can't remember what his name is. People say his name all the time. But I don't think that he's, like, a malicious guy. I don't think he did it out of malicious intent. Like, if you watch those interviews, I don't think you can even, like, you can't look at him and say, like, oh, yeah, he's just lying to everybody to the sake for everybody to buy his game. You know what I mean? Like, it doesn't look like that. It just looks like he, like, wants so much more than's actually possible. And it's like, it is his fault. Like, you have to curb your expectations. But I don't think that he's like a bad person. Like, it's not like he was lying actively to try and scam people. but he was obviously, he was lying. Like, he was saying things that weren't true. And so that's pretty bad. But I think he was just excited for his game, and everybody else got really excited for his game. And so he kind of just got sucked into the hype and kind of just kept going with it, which he went too far and couldn't tell people no, which is kind of a problem. And obviously the hype just got so much, though, that like no matter how good the game was, it was going to be disappointing. Like, it was going to be disappointing. It's kind of like, it's just how it is. It's just how it is. It was like Cyberpunk. Like, I even talked about it. Like, if they released Half-Life 3, no matter how good it is, it would be disappointing. You know what I mean? Like, because people have like the hype around it would be insane. It's like, it's just how it is. Like Starfield, like, lots of hype. Although Starfield actually did a good job of not getting too hyped. I think Starfield did a good job of not getting too hyped. I think it's actually done a decent, like, smooth launch. People seem to think it's good, but not like groundbreaking or anything. But people seem to think it's good, and that's usually a great step for them to build on, like Bethesda to build on stuff, right? The mods, the DLC, stuff like that. Hideo Kojima lies about a game and everyone calls him a genius. Sean Murray lies about a game and everyone loses their mind. Yeah. Stardew Valley, really great game. If you're into those kind of life sims, those kind of like building up kind of stuff, I think it's a life sim that actually does it correctly. Like, it's not boring. There's actually gameplay. There's actually like kind of strategy involved. There's thinking. It's thoughtful gameplay. Like, Stardew Valley actually does a really good job. Stuff I heard about it seemed like people were giga wary of it, super wary to be any kind of hype. Is Starfield? Yeah, it's because it's Bethesda. It's Bethesda at the end of the day. Like, Bethesda makes really great games that are also buggy messes. Like, it's just what they do. Like, they make great games that are a buggy mess. So everyone's expecting Bethesda to drop the ball hard. I don't think they did. Honestly. From what I've seen of it, it doesn't seem like people are saying they dropped the ball, but I don't think anybody's like saying it's like groundbreaking or anything. But I think with some DLCs and some some mods, it could become really good and like something for people to really enjoy. It could be I don't think it'll be a Skyrim, because I think Skyrim was like a perfect storm kind of thing. But I think it could be like, up there with like Fallout, Skyrim for like sci-fi people, people who really enjoy sci-fi. Like, kind of like just play it again every now and then. Planet Coaster, this is a cool game actually. It was created because of Roller Coaster Tycoon, right? But I'm pretty sure Planet Coaster is the game where you can really customize the shit out of your park. Like, this game, like, if you're into park building, like, goddamn, you can build some fucking very intricate things. People really like that. There's that other game. Is it just Zoo Tycoon? I can't remember. I think that this was created as like a Roller Coaster Tycoon of the modern age, as Roller Coaster Tycoon was like a really old game. But this was created as like a modern one, and they did a really good job actually. This is like, if you're into these kinds of games, this is really good, and it's still like getting updated. I think there is a lot of DLC you could buy, but I don't know how it is without DLC. Is it Paradox? It might be Paradox. But all in all, pretty good. Wait, was 2017 the start of this meme? With the guy looking behind him? God, people still use this meme to this day. That's 6 years. I guess it is part of it. Not sure. 2017, we replaced Steam Greenlight with Steam Direct, making it easier for developers to launch their games on Steam directly. Lots of other big news. I don't think this is a good thing. Because, dude, Steam is so full of garbage nowadays. I kind of feel like Steam Direct might be why. But it does mean that, indie developers can get them on a lot easier. But it also means that other people can put their garbage onto Steam a lot easier as well, and kind of clog the system a little bit with lots of shit. But to be fair, nobody really sees the shit. But that's the thing, is that you don't see the shit on Steam because all you see is the popular stuff. And if you're only seeing the popular stuff, you're not seeing the indie gems that you could be seeing. You know what I mean? And they can't show you the indie gems, like the lesser known stuff, because if they do, it'll be mixed in with a whole bunch of shit. But if they got rid of the shit, then they could show you the indie gems. You know what I mean? They could be like, oh, here's all the popular stuff, but also look at this stuff. But right now, if they did that, they said, oh, here's all the popular stuff, now look at this stuff, it would just be garbage. You'd be like, why do I care about an old banana peel and empty takeout box? Like, why do I care about that? And you just stop looking at it. You know what I mean? Like, it would just be pointless. So it's like, I kind of feel like, I don't know. I feel like Steam does need curating. That's one of the bad things on Steam, in my opinion, because it hurts gaming overall, because it means that just a little bit of curating. Like, I don't want it to make it difficult for indie developers to get on Steam, because that could be really bad. You know what I mean? That could be really punishing to indie developers. But you need a little bit of curating just to get the garbage out of here, because like it just clogs the system too much. That's one thing that I think Steam is really bad at, is the curating. I think that's something that it's not great at. But they have a very hands-off approach, I feel like, with Steam. They're just like, all right, we'll let you launch on Steam as long as you're not, doing anything objectively bad. You know what I mean? Like, your game can be fucking hot garbage. We don't care about that. But as long as you're not doing anything objectively bad, we don't care. You know what I mean? Which I think is like good and bad. But it's like, if they try and lean more into the curating stuff, it could be worse. So it's like, it's a hard thing. It's a fine line to walk, because if they curate and they curate too much, it's worse than just letting all the garbage on, in my opinion. You know what I mean? Because so it's really hard. So it's hard. Like, I don't know if I actually should be complaining, because if they did change their ways, they could make it worse, and then indie games would have a really hard time getting onto Steam, which means nobody would play them, and then they wouldn't be able to, like, the indie development, like the indie world would hurt for it, and less cool games would come to be. So it's a hard thing to complain about, but it is what it is. I see the shit. Yeah, I mean, I see it too with the discovery queues. It's really bad. I mean, you probably see even worse stuff than I do, which is crazy. But there is some like really bad shit on Steam. Like, not like bad shit as in it's like, bad, but it's like lowest of the low. Like, they genuinely look like a child made it and just like threw it together, and it's like, it's really bad. Like, it shouldn't exist. Like, it's like a Flash game, and it's like a bad Flash game, not even a good Flash game. It's like a bad Flash game. Like, it's crazy, some of the stuff that's on Steam, I swear. But nobody sees it, because it's really hard to find it. Like, it's really hard to find bad shit on Steam unless you look, or you have the discovery queue, like, to a point where you're going to see the bad stuff. Like, it's hard. If you go to Steam and you scroll through the search bars, if you sort by popular, you'll have to scroll for ages to find any of the really bad stuff. If you type into the search bar, you can find it. You'll have to type a term, and just, like, if you type, like, any word and then just, like click on one of the games that shows up, like, just type, like, I don't know, like fucking horse feet or something like that, right? And you just, like, click on a game that shows up, trust me, it's going to be bad. It's going to be bad. I don't know if that'll actually show anything up, to be fair, but hopefully it's not anything too bad. I just came up with 2 random words and stuck them together. But yeah, Steam is bad with curating. Lots of other big news in the tech world this year with the launch of both the Nintendo Switch. This thing, really good, honestly. Nintendo always does a good job. Other than their fucking monopoly that they have over their stuff, but it is their stuff, so they can't do that. And then Fortnite, which, for as much as I dislike Fortnite is a good game. For what it is very good. They've done a good job at keeping it relevant, keeping it popular, keeping it exciting. So fair enough. I really dislike Fortnite. I find it incredibly boring and unfun to play, but whatever. It is good at what it does. Middle-earth Shadow of War, very good sequel to the original Middle-earth game, which also did a very good job. Conan Exiles, which is kind of like Ark, but Conan. I fucking hate this game. I think it looks like shit. People really love it. Well, I shouldn't say I hate it. I've never played it, but I dislike this game. But people love it. People like it, like Ark. It's kind of the same thing for Ark. It just looks boring and kind of shit looking, but people love the shit out of this. So I'd like to give it a try at some point. I shouldn't hate. Nintendo, they're struggling. What do we do? Stop competing. Yeah. Assassin's Creed Origins. Apparently, this looks like it was good. People seem to have liked it, but I don't know. I think I kind of agree that Assassin's Creed is good at what it does, and they do a good job. Like, I don't think their games are bad, but it's just the same stuff every year. Like, it's not really anything new or exciting, I feel like. Although that giant Colossus thing looked kind of fun. But I don't know. Like, I don't think Assassin's Creed. It kind of is like Far Cry for me. It's just one of those games that just releases a sequel every couple years, and it's just like, oh yeah. I mean, honestly, Assassin's Creed feels like it releases a new one every year. Honestly, so Call of Duty World War II, which just a Call of Duty game. Looks like didn't even get very many reviews. Nier Automata, which people love this game and like are very attached to the story and everything. Apparently it's a very good game. I have not played it or seen anything about it, but people do seem to love it. PUBG released, which is crazy cool. PUBG when it came out was fucking amazing. Nowadays I feel like it's too full of bots for some reason. At least for like my region, it's like too boring to play. But when it released, man, PUBG was actually pretty good. I think it definitely went downhill though, sadly. But PUBG was really good. I really love PUBG. It's like one of my favorite battle royales. Like if it didn't have all the bots, it probably would still be my favorite. But honestly, Apex is probably my favorite now, I'd say. Well, I just get tired of battle royales. That's why I don't play them. Even though Apex is my favorite, I still don't play Apex because I'm just bored of battle royales. I played a shit ton of them in 2017, 2018. Your love of AI tells me you love Automata as well. I do like AI a lot. I have to play it at some point. I don't own it though. They don't put it on sale very often. It's only $40 though. It's probably worth $40 for sure. Cuphead, which is also kind of a goat. It's like one of there's not many games of this genre really on PC. Obviously it's kind of like that arcade shooter kind of like old timey like joystick game, right? But taken to a modern format and very difficult, right? Kind of like Souls-like in that aspect, where it's kind of like a very difficult game. That's very satisfying to beat eventually. So, very good game. People love the shit out of this, right? Just because it's really well crafted. I mean, like the sounds, the drawing as well, all that stuff is really well done as well. So, Cuphead's cool. Galaga mushrooms, hell yeah. Tekken 7, which I don't know how relevant of a Tekken release this was. I think maybe it might have been the first one on PC. I'm not sure. I mean, I don't know. I don't know, or maybe it was the first one on Steam. I'm not sure. I don't know enough about Tekken or like fighting game, like because fighting games have been around almost as long as gaming has been around. So, I'm not sure what their adaptation to like PC gaming and like modern gaming has been like over the years, but Black Desert, which people really like this game, but it's definitely a little bit pay to win, I think. But seems cool. I want to play it at some point. A big MMO, big popular MMO. I think it is a bit pay to win though. But that's most MMOs. Let's be honest. Total Warhammer 2, which is definitely kind of a goat at this point. Obviously Total Warhammer 3 kind of replaced it, I think, but I think that genuinely the main thing is the fantasy element just makes this so much more exciting. Like if you're not a history nerd, like this really shows that like Total War is a good system. It's just kind of boring with the history stuff. Like I mean like I really don't, well also Warhammer is like, but it's not Warhammer Fantasy that really people are like that invested in. You know what I mean? Like maybe like the older crowd, like maybe 40K is more of like a new thing. You know what I mean? Like more people are invested in now. So maybe like, you know, the older generation are more invested in the fantasy world. But like, I don't think that many people are really invested in Warhammer Fantasy. So I don't think it's Warhammer Fantasy that innately made this popular. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think it's like, oh, look. Well, to be fair, it's two very big licenses, though. Like, if you are a strategy gamer and you like Warhammer, I mean, this is like a dream come true, right? Like, Total War plus Warhammer is pretty fucking cool. But I think that, like, I feel like this game, yes, the license would have given it a lot of grounds to walk on, but I do feel like it shows that unless you're a history nut, like, the other games are just kind of boring, like the Total War games. Like, yeah, they're, like, fun to play a little bit, but I think you'll just get bored of them. Whereas something like this, because of the fantasy elements, it has so much more variety and interesting things going on. So I think that's really what's made these games successful, personally. But I could be wrong. 40k nerds are louder, if nothing else. Yeah, that's fair. We've definitely started to slow down, by the way, but that's just because I have more to say about these games, like because I know about them. You know what I mean? So it's fun to talk about them. Fucking play Despacito. That's an old meme. Okay, that's an old meme in this chat. Don't worry about it. Proton is introduced as a compatibility layer for Windows games to run on Linux. I don't know anything about that. Steam Chat launches. Is that just being able to talk to your friends? Wow. And Artifact comes out of beta. I'm not sure if you can still play Artifact. That's Valve's card game, right? I'm not sure if you can still play that. It's still on Steam. I added it to my library, but I'm not sure if you can still play it. People don't talk about it very much. And in other news, Alexa, play Despacito. Which I'll talk about the meme because it's a good time to do so. I used to stream a long time ago, and a friend of mine would hop into chat, and I would play a lot of music on stream because back then it was mostly okay, and I was playing Path of Exile. So this is when I didn't really have many people watching, and there wasn't really anybody in chat, so I would just listen to music, play some PoE. I didn't really do a good job streaming. I wasn't talking all that much. My friend would jump in, though, and we'd talk about music, right? Because he was into music, and he liked to talk about what I was listening to and stuff. And he's like, oh, you should play some Despacito. And I said, what is Despacito? Because I had never heard of it. And he's like, what did you just say? what are you talking about? And I was like, what is that? I've never heard of that before. What do you mean? What is the word? Is that clip still alive? I downloaded it, I'm pretty sure. No, I'm pretty sure I downloaded it. I should have it. I can maybe find it. Wait. I should have it on my computer. Oh, the problem is, wait, I have a desktop audio mute button for this exact reason. I can listen to the clips and find it. There will be music in the background, though. See if I can find it. Okay, I found it. Dude, I sound so young. There is music in the background, but it should be okay. It's not like a super popular song, thankfully. You guys can listen to it.
Despacito. What is Despacito? What the fuck is Despacito? Am I dumb for not knowing what that is?
I had literally never heard of it, but obviously it is Despacito. Yeah, exactly. It is it is the most viewed song, I think, on YouTube. Or just maybe it's like one of the most, it's like the most something song ever. I think it's the most viewed song on YouTube. But I had never heard of it. It's kind of a jam. I can get behind it a little bit. I don't know what they're saying in it, but I can get behind it. It's actually, I listened to it that day. I remember listening to it, and I was like, okay, it's a little bit of a jam. But I'd never heard of it before that. So, definitely a good meme on stream. Whenever it's mentioned, anybody who knows me always mentions the Despacito. Which is pretty funny. Hunt Showdown, which I obviously have some interest in because I'm a Tarkov player, and Tarkov and Hunt Showdown players do have some overlap. It's crazy that it came out in 2018. It's still going pretty strong. I think it's a very fun game. It's really well done. The combat's really well done and well made. And it's very fun to play, especially with friends. But I do have a bit of a problem with it, where I feel like the whole looting and stuff is pretty much irrelevant. Basically doesn't exist, in my opinion. And it gets pretty fucking sweaty. And when it's played sweaty, it gets a lot less fun, sadly. Because of the MMR-based matchmaking, you run into people who sit in fucking bushes, play literally as far back as possible. Anytime you try to push them, they run away. People who like camp buildings for literally 30 minutes with shotguns and like just wait for you to push into them. It gets like pretty lame. It's like a competitive shooter, but it doesn't lend itself well to actually taking it competitively, if that makes sense. But it is a really good game, so it kind of just frustrates me that I have to play it sweaty sometimes. Because as you play more, I don't think that they're like making the game for casuals. It's just that the problems that they're running into are like innately hard to fix, if that makes sense. Like people camping in buildings is just the nature of people, like the objective being in a building is like, okay, well, we're just gonna camp now. You know what I mean? So I definitely think it has a much different feel to like battle royales, but it definitely feels like a competitive shooter. Like if you play it, it feels like you're playing something that's meant to be taken seriously. It's meant to be like you're trying to focus on betterment as yourself as a player. But then there's also stuff like third partying, camping in buildings, or sniping at long range. And I feel like the whole looting system is just kind of something that's kind of tacked on. Like it's not really a big impact to the game, honestly. Scum, which I think is another game that's actually been improved. I have not played this. I've seen much of it. I've never played it, but I haven't seen much of it since like nowadays. But I think from what I've heard, they've actually really improved it. But when it came out, this was a shit show. It was a really bad game. It was like really unstable, really bad performance, just really, really bad all around. The gameplay wasn't great. But supposedly they've improved it a lot, I think I've heard, and the reviews seem to reflect that. So definitely another one of those games that's done a good job. I don't know how it squares up to DayZ. I think DayZ kind of probably is better than it in terms of survival, but it probably has some aspects that are a bit more entertaining and stuff. Shadow of the Tomb Raider, which I talked about the Tomb Raider games. They're like, it's more of the same, but I think the Tomb Raider games do a really good job. Assassin's Creed Odyssey, which is it's just another Assassin's Creed game, like I said with the last one. Artifact, which is Valve's card game. Final Fantasy 15, which I don't know anything about. You don't know anything about. I know that the Final Fantasy games only started to get to PC somewhat recently, right? Or like with like this game probably. Raft, which is kind of like Rust. Well, not Rust. What is it kind of like? It is kind of like Rust actually, and Ark and stuff, but more of it's like a solo experience, not like an online. Sort of Rust, but PvE. Yeah, exactly, actually, yeah. And people really love this game. I'm not a big fan of it personally, but people really seem to love it. I think I'm just not a big fan of those Rust, Ark, like Raft style games. Like I'm just not a big fan of these types of games in general, but people really seem to love them. So, and Raft is like that, but PvE. Jurassic World Evolution, where if you're into park building, which I'm not a big fan of, and Jurassic Park, it seems to be really cool, and people really seem to like this as well. Being able to build all your dinosaurs, Watch people play multiplayer a lot. Seems really fun to play with friends. Yeah, that's what I've seen people do a lot. Monster Hunter World, which is still going strong, I think. Although I think they released a sequel, right? People really seem to like Monster Hunter World, but apparently it's very, very grindy. But they talk about that in kind of a good way, most of the people that talk about this game. So I think that, those type of people like the grindiness of Monster Hunter World. But supposedly it's pretty fucking cool. I mean, the boss fights do look pretty sick. But I don't know much about it other than that, honestly. I want to try it at some point. Seems like people really love it, so like people spend a lot of time playing it. Frostpunk, which is a pretty cool city builder, which apparently is pretty gruesome and like cool setting and kind of dystopia world, right? It's crazy that it's popular. I didn't realize it was this popular of a game. I thought it was more of an unknown thing. So even after they released Rise, I think a lot of people still prefer World. Oh, okay, interesting. That's interesting. Cool to hear about. I don't know enough about it. I really haven't looked into Monster Hunter World that much. So, in 2019, Steam introduces or updates several features. Remote play together allows folks to share the local multiplayer games in their Steam library. This is actually really cool. Sadly, I actually tried to use this yesterday. Sadly, you do need people to own a controller. If you do not own a controller, it does not work. You have to download like some program to split your keys. Actually, to be fair, it might depend on the game. I think remote play together in general kind of requires. No, actually, it might be dependent on game. Actually, It might be game dependent. But your best bet is to have a controller, sadly, which is fair because like you only have so many keys on your keyboard, and obviously if they're putting in inputs, it's kind of different. It's kind of difficult, but it is a really cool feature though, and it lets a lot of games, because the problem is with games like this actually is that like there's a lot of games out there that require you to play with friends, but they're quite an undertaking for these people to develop them. It's not like they're these cheap, easy things that you can just throw together, right? And so a lot of these games that you like play with friends, they kind of have this cheap feel to them. They're kind of like, you know, they don't have that much production quality because they can't put the production quality into it because it won't succeed. Because they're like $20 and you can't buy it by yourself, but you need 4 people to buy it, and you need 4 people who are willing to pay $20. You know what I mean? Which is pretty difficult. But the thing is, with remote play together, you can. You know what I mean? They can put this production quality into games, so it actually like helps a lot, right? There is other ways that these games have found ways to go about it, but remote play together does add like a good option. But you do need people to own controllers, which most avid PC gamers will own a controller. I'm a little bit of an exception because I just don't own one. But most avid PC gamers should and will probably own a controller. So you can easily play with your friends and all play the game, and only one of you has to buy it, which means that these games can actually put some production quality towards their games that are meant to be played with friends, which is really cool. Because if it didn't if stuff like this didn't exist, there is other options that they've found over the years, but this is a really good one. If stuff like this doesn't exist, then that avenue of gaming, that genre, can't put as much money and production quality into it, and they need to keep making these kind of cheap, kind of free or like $5 games, you know what I mean, that, you know, you can gather some friends around or put $20 down and buy it for all your friends, you know what I mean, that kind of thing. So it is cool to see, like, Steam just makes really good things like this. Like, this is what Steam does. Like, they actually care about, like, they are actually bettering gaming overall, which is crazy. And it's crazy, like, that people, I don't know, don't appreciate what they're doing. Like, sometimes, like, it feels like there's a lot of people that don't appreciate or kind of acknowledge the, like, actual betterment that they're doing. But I don't know. But yeah, local multiplayer games and their Steam libraries with friends over the internet for free. We released a mobile app for Steam Chat, as well as an update for Steam Library. In December, we host the very first Steam Next Fest, which is really cool. It promotes indie games and people playing demos, checking out new ideas. I'm not a big fan of demos and stuff personally, but I know there's a lot of people who are. People who like what is it called? There's a website. It has a really weird but short name that I can't remember, and people put these like little like tech demos on there. You can like upload anything you want. It's like completely like community driven. It's for gaming. I can't remember what it's called for the life of me. But like that has a lot of grounds, and people put their ideas onto there before they want to put them onto Steam to see if people like them, to see if they worked, to see if they have any traction. But I can't remember what it's called. That's okay. But yeah, the Steam Next Fest is cool, and it kind of like puts a little bit of focus on these cool ideas that aren't out yet, so people can kind of like kind of gain interest in them and play their demos, give them feedback, that kind of stuff. So it's really cool. I'm not a big fan of demos myself, but I like that there's an option, but I just don't like playing them myself because I'd rather play like a fully like released game so I can play more of it. I don't like playing it for like 2 hours and then being like, oh, you gotta wait. I don't like that. It kind of frustrates me. Steam Labs arrives this year as well, giving folks a way to give us feedback on potential new Steam features as we're building them. I don't do this, but I don't doubt that it has a good impact on Steam as a whole. I don't use this personally, but it probably has a very good impact on Steam as a whole. Also this year, Dota Overlords launches in early access, and 3 years after co-launching the HTC Vive, we release our very own headset, the Valve Index. I think this is a decent VR headset, but I'm not sure. Dota Underworlds is their auto battler because they were like, oh, look, you know, League of Legends made an auto battler. Let's make an auto battler as well. So fair enough on them trying to get in on it as well, right? And then other notable notes. Mary Kondo invites us to spark joy by getting rid of stuff. I don't know. Oh, is that the meme where this does not spark joy? I see people use that meme format all the time. Is that meme? It probably is, isn't it? And video streaming becomes a thing. Apple TV, Disney Plus, etc. And then the fucking okay boomer. Nico lol. Pretty sure Underlords came before TFT. Oh shit. So TFT League is copying. I see how it is. Was the fucking Nico lol thing actually that big of a meme? Was it really that popular? The okay boomer? I didn't think it was that big. But they referenced it here, so I assume so. I didn't think it was that big. Halo Master Chief. It wasn't her who started it. Oh, was it not? Okay. Yeah, I'm not that big into memes, to be fair. I thought it was just her. Then fair enough. Yeah, it probably was a big meme. Halo the Master Chief Collection. I think there was a lot of drama surrounding this when it launched, but I can't remember why, but it's really cool to have Halo on PC. I think there is some drama around the whole Halo's releases. I don't know. I don't know where it came from, but it was big enough that I got sick of it. Yeah, it's fair. I feel like there's some drama about the Halos on PC. Like some of them aren't good quality or something, or they're ported badly. I don't know. I don't know enough about it. I haven't looked into it. The whole Master Chief Collection, while it's cool to have Halo on PC, like it's really cool. As somebody who's never owned an Xbox, like having the opportunity to play Halo games is really cool. And it's super cool that they're like getting rid of that exclusivity, because exclusivity is just bad for the market in general. But I haven't looked into it personally. I feel like some of the games, like the whole package is like really confusing how it works. Like, cause you can like buy some of them and like some of them are free and you have to like, I don't know. It's kind of awkward how it's handled on Steam. 343 Industries are kind of lazy with their releases, unfortunately. Yeah, I've heard that they're maybe not the best of companies when it comes to game development. And like they're kind of like production quality and like communication and stuff. Mordhau, which people really love, it took the chivalry idea and was like, hey, you guys aren't doing anything with it. Let's make something cool. I do think it has some funky issues when it gets to like the higher levels. I think there's some animation shit that gets a little crazy from what I've heard. But you know, if you're not at that like sweaty shit, then it is pretty fun, pretty cool, and it gives you that chivalry. There is Chivalry 2 nowadays, but Mordhau definitely does a very good job and kind of competes with it for sure. So, Destiny 2, which is still going very strong. People love Destiny 2. I would like to play it because I definitely think it has like Borderlands vibes, which I would like. Going off the original Destiny, which was a console exclusive actually. Chivalry had insane cat animation reviews as well. Yeah, that's fair actually. I haven't seen like, because Chivalry is kind of old at this point, so I hadn't seen the sweaty stuff. So I don't doubt that. When like those kind of games with the animation stuff, when you get sweaty, dude, the animations, like people get crazy. Remnant from the Ashes, which apparently is very popular. People like this game. I think it had some issues on release. From what I remember, it didn't have like the greatest like response, but I could be wrong on that. But it looks like they've improved it, and people seem to really like this. The newer one came out recently. And I think people are liking it. It's a cool like third-person shooter kind of thing. So, I don't know enough about it though, to be fair. Risk of Rain 2, which is genuinely really good roguelike that people seem to absolutely love, and it looks very fun to play. Dark Souls with guns, hell yeah. Red Dead Redemption 2, which is fucking amazing as well. People seem to love that. I need to play it at some point. And it's kind of like Destiny, where the original was a console exclusive. So very cool to see these games coming to PC. You can kind of see over the years, like the exclusivity kind of stop, right? Stuff like Final Fantasy, stuff like fighting games, stuff like Halo, games that used to have games that were exclusive coming to PC as well. PC gaming actually becoming like, you know, a real contender for like a big part of gaming. Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order or Fallen Survivor. I need to play this really badly, but I have not gotten around to it. But apparently very, very good. Kind of Souls-like. Jedi's, Star Wars, very good. Atmosphere is really good, apparently. Combat, gameplay, all that good stuff. Code Vein, which I don't know anything about. but anime stuff, and it seems to be pretty popular. So I don't know anything about that though. Planet Zoo, which is another kind of like Planet Coaster anime Dark Souls. A lot of Dark Souls, a lot of Souls-like stuff. Planet Zoo is like Planet Coaster. Man, the amount of customization and building you can do in this is insane. Like absolutely insane. Like you can do so much. If you like park building, you like zoos, God, you can get really crazy with that stuff and like customize a park for hours and hours on end. Some people really love that stuff. So 2020, which is I mean it's 2020, right? We add the news and events hub to make it hopefully easier for people to notice the latest in gaming and events on Steam. And even bigger news, we officially returned to the Half-Life universe in virtual reality with the release of Half-Life Alyx in March. Note we knew headcrabs was scary, but damn, those things are terrifying in VR. Half-Life Alyx is apparently very, very good, and also a very good VR game. So it's like Valve makes good fucking games, man. They really do. Like Valve makes good fucking games. So they do a good job. Alyx launches just as the world goes into lockdown for the pandemic. So 2020 is also the year Zoom bombing becomes a thing. Check your background before those work meetings, people. And Joe Exotic is the hot mess we can't turn away from in Tiger King. Dude, the fucking Tiger King thing, dude. Holy shit. Hearing about the fucking Tiger King stuff, people would not shut up about that. I really did not care. I could not give a fuck. I was like, who cares? I feel like it was just because everybody was stuck inside. Like, it really wasn't that interesting. But everybody was just stuck inside, so everybody wanted to talk about something. Borderlands 3, which I played this when it finally did come to Steam, because it released the year before, actually, so it just shows the Steam release here in 2020. I really like the Epic thing really annoyed the shit out of me as a big Borderlands fan, and I waited till the Steam release to play it because I don't want to support Epic and their bullshit. But I think that it's a good game, but I definitely don't think it lives up to Borderlands 2. The gameplay, I think, is better. I think it really nails the Borderlands gameplay. It's fun. It's exciting. It's, like, action-packed. It's not repetitive. It's good gameplay. Like, the gameplay's fun. The shooting is fun. But the story is definitely a letdown. The story is a letdown, especially compared to Borderlands 2, especially compared to the pre-sequel. The story is a letdown, and I think it does, kind of makes the game fall down. The characters really aren't as lovable. They did a bad job with the returning characters, just kind of how they handled them. I feel like most of them, although some of them they did a good job, but kind of how the story ends, I feel like they did a bad job. So it's a little bit sad with the story and stuff, but I do think that it is probably the best Borderlands gameplay. I think that if you had to pick one Borderlands game to play, like just the gameplay and not the story, I think Borderlands 3 is the best. But I think the story is really disappointing, and that kind of makes it fall, sadly. Yeah, that's for they're doing like a Pandora's box sale or like bundle where it's like literally everything Borderlands related all in one bundle. It's only $10 for me though, the actual bundle, and it's like $10, and I get Tales from the Borderlands, or New Tales from the Borderlands, which is a $40 game. So I was probably gonna buy it just because it's $10. It's like a 75% sale, which is pretty good. FIFA, which who fucking cares about? It's FIFA. Although I think first time it came to a PC, maybe, right? Which is a pretty big deal, right? Again, another console exclusive coming to PC, but you also see now we are starting to get PC exclusives, which is really just a shame that Epic is just a shit show. Microsoft Flight Sim, which people absolutely love. If you're into flight simulators, apparently it's very, very good. If you're into that kind of stuff. Phasmophobia, which it was like a fucking it was just one of those online trends, man. It was one of those online trends. It was around the time of Among Us too, right? Among Us was before it, I think. But like, I really don't think Phasmophobia is that good of a game. Like, I really don't. I don't think it's that good of a game. But people seem to love it. I don't want to just be a hater, but I don't know. It looks very meh, in my opinion. Every time I've seen people play it, I'm like, this doesn't look that good. But it's kind of like the the kind of like, it just lets you kind of fuck around with your friends and have a fun time. Which, I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. It's also good in VR apparently, right? So it's not that great, but it's spooky fun with friends. Yeah, like, and there's nothing wrong with that, but I feel like people give it way too much credit. Like, I really don't think it deserves as much credit. Fall Guys also released. That was a big trend right after Among Us as well. I think a lot of these are just like trend games, right? It's crazy that they released in these years though, because like Among Us isn't listed because it didn't release in the year that it gained a lot of popularity. Fall Guys is pretty cool, but then it became an Epic exclusive. So again, starting to see PC exclusives, which is really a shame. Sadly. But yeah, I mean, Fall Guys is actually pretty cool. It's a cool little, fun little party game, and not too serious, right? It's just a fun little good time. Sea of Thieves was on the Microsoft Store, finally released on on Steam, which is cool to see. Got a lot of popularity because people obviously want it on Steam because the Microsoft Store fucking sucks, and nobody wants to use that shit. So, Sea of Thieves, very cool game though. I need to play it at some point, but I feel like I would get bored because there's nothing to do. Like, everything you do is just for money, and the money is just for cosmetics. So I would feel like there's no kind of like progression I'm really doing. You're kind of just there to be there and have fun, which isn't a bad thing, but just not for me personally. Because like, I do think it looks like a really fun game and it's a good game, but like, for me personally, I feel like I'd play it and just get bored. Just like, I'd be like, what's the point of all this? You know what I mean? Like, yeah, I'm getting gold, yeah, I'm, you know, sinking ships, having a good time, but like, I'm not achieving anything. Like, I don't know, in games like that, I want like an overall goal, you know what I mean, some kind of overall progression. Sims 4, which, I mean, The Sims is a classic series. I don't think Sims 4 was very good when it released. Also, this was on EA, but they finally released it on Steam as well. Again, starting to see less exclusives right here, but starting to see more exclusives, with Epic being just a stain on PC gaming. It's crazy that you see like EA being like, okay, here's our game. You know what I mean? You can have our game on Steam. You know what I mean? Like, it doesn't have to be just on our launcher. Mostly because of throwing in the towel, right? Of not having enough people using their launcher, and they're like, fine, fuck it, we'll put it on Steam. But then you see Epic over here like, no, you must use Epic. We will force you. Which is sad. Mountain Blade 2 Bannerlord, which again was a bit of a shit show when it first released. Bit of a trend, as you can see, when like games being a bit of a shit show when they first released, but then slowly getting better. It's a very common thing, sadly, on PC gaming nowadays with like online updates. Games kind of release in shitty states. But I think they've done a really good job to improve it, and it's definitely Mountain Blade in the modern era, which is cool. Very, very cool. And Mountain Blade's a very cool series. I really do want to play some Mountain Blade. I think I'm gonna enjoy it a lot. I've played like a decent chunk of it, like years ago, but like not enough. I need to play some more. And not recently. Crusader Kings 3, which is one of those like niche grand strategy, like really slow paced games that people seem to adore, but it's definitely not for everybody. But that game is very popular as well. 2021, we're almost there. We're almost done. The Steam Game Festival gets a rebrand Steam Next Fest and becomes the thrice yearly event it now is. We also launched Steam China in participation or partnership with Perfect World. Wow. So is that Steam in China? I don't know anything about this. That's pretty cool if so. So I guess they didn't have Steam in China before? I'm not sure. I'm not sure what that is. Other things people are talking about this year: the animated series Dota's Dragon Blood releases on Netflix. Bernie Sanders becomes a meme with his mittens, and Squid Game challenges our happy memories of nostalgic childhood games. You can bet your sweet selves we aren't agreeing to play red light, green light for a while. Things we don't talk about, Bruno. I don't know what this is. But the Dota series is cool. Obviously, they talk about their own series releasing. And Squid Game, people loved Squid Game. God damn, that was a fucking huge thing. Battlefield 2042, which was a complete fucking mess on release, like just a shit show and an awful experience supposedly. It's crazy it's been 2 years since that release. That's crazy. This really saddened me as like a big Battlefield fan, seeing Battlefield be such a in such a shit state. It was really disappointing. Naraka Blade Point, which I really want to play. as a cool battle royale fighting game, which looks pretty sick actually. I do want to play Naraka Blade Point at some point. Mass Effect Legendary Edition, which was on EA or Origin, but was released on Steam. Mass Effect Legendary Series, Legendary Edition as well. So definitely can see why that's there. Valheim, which is like another like Rust like style game, but PvE. I'm pretty sure. I think you might be able to do online. Maybe not actually. I think you can do online. But I think it's like closed servers. I don't think it's like public servers. I'm not sure though. But another one of those like Rust games. Apparently it's pretty good. People seem to really like this game. And like very fun with friends. But again, it's just not really my thing. Forza Horizon 5, which I don't know much about other than it's a racing game, to be fair. I don't really know much about that. Another FIFA game. Who cares? Resident Evil Village, which I did not see enough of Resident Evil Village. I don't think people liked it as much as well, no, I don't know actually. I don't know. I think people liked it more than 7. I'm not sure. I'm not really sure. I'm not quite sure. This is we didn't see 7 on this list, surprisingly. But this was a big release though. People were very excited for this one. People were very excited. They did a cool thing with this name, by the way. People were captivated by Lady D. That's just very true. They really were. People are fucking stupid. Age of Empires 4, which is crazy because Age of Empires is a very old series. So the fact they actually released a new one's kind of crazy. I assume it's a new one. I think it is. It says Anniversary Edition, but I think it's like a bundle. Halo Infinite, which I'm not sure if, like, I don't know if this is like a new game or not. Like the Halo stuff is, like I said, it's super confusing to me. I've seen some people playing Halo Infinite actually recently. It actually looks pretty fun. I actually have considered playing some. Forza Horizon 4? But there's 5? So these must have been on a different platform. But yeah, it's now on Steam. EA maybe? I'm not sure. I don't know enough about Forza Horizon. Infinite is the newest one. Okay. So it actually released and it was available on Steam as well. That's really cool. That is really cool. Super cool. You know. We give the Steam mobile app, this is 2022, Steam mobile app a huge makeover this year. We are officially launching Steam Deck, a powerful handheld PC gaming device, which is basically a Nintendo Switch for all games, which is, it makes complete sense because if the Nintendo Switch is so popular, hey, why don't we make one that's available for everything? So powerful handheld PC gaming device. Deck includes Aperture Desk Job, a spin-off game we made from the Portal universe, which serves as a tech demo and somehow makes building toilets fun. So obviously they plug their own stuff quite a bit in this, but that's fair enough. I mean, it is their platform, and you know what? They've done a good enough job over the years. They can get a little plug. But the Steam Deck, I actually do think is quite good. Like I from what I've heard, it's quite good. Obviously, you can't play everything on it, but I mean, it seems to be pretty powerful. Like, so pretty cool. At the end of the year, we released the first ever Steam Replay, a custom look back at your year on Steam, which is actually, I think they obviously were like copying like Spotify and stuff like that, that were showing like your yearly recap. But it's really cool to see this stuff, actually. I think it could do with some more statistics, but I think they will make it better as the years go on. The 2023 one will probably be better because the 2022 one was the first one. But this is obviously just a cool feature. It's cool to see the history and like what you played over the year and look back and stuff. Especially when it comes to gaming and like music and stuff. I think it's a really cool thing to have. So this is definitely a welcome addition. Yeah, more stats. Yeah, it's just fun. It's fun to see stats. I think gamers like stats like more than other people as well. I don't know. We just seem to appreciate stats and just seeing numbers. So it is definitely a welcome addition. 2022 is also the year Elon Musk buys Twitter, now X. Elon bought Twitter in 2022. Yeah, I'm really surprised it was 2022. Feels like it was this year, but apparently it was in 2022. To be fair, he didn't start doing anything immediately, though. He bought it, and then he kind of chilled. Warhammer 40,000 Darktide. Mixed reviews, sadly. I thought that this game went over pretty well at start. Maybe they haven't released any new content or anything. I don't know about it myself, but it's obviously kind of similar to like Left 4 Dead, Vermintide, but in the 40k universe. I don't know. I thought people said that this was good, but mixed reviews is kind of disappointing. Good core game, not enough content. Yeah, That's what I assumed, because like I heard people say that they thought it was good, but now it has mixed reviews, so it makes me think they just haven't added enough, sadly. Which is definitely like kind of a thing. Like if your core gameplay is good enough, hopefully it wouldn't feel too repetitive, but you do still need to keep adding more stuff for a game like this. So I mean, it's still young though. They can still keep adding more stuff. Games like this tend to go on for a while if they do a good job of just adding more stuff. So hopefully they do. NBA 2K, who cares? But it's cool that it's on Steam now at least. And on PC, because these games weren't on PC originally, right? So it's cool. Lego Star Wars. Lego games are always welcome, in my opinion. It's cool to see them for any game, no matter what it is. The Skywalker Saga is really cool, seeing it all across the thing. I don't really like how the Lego games look nowadays. I feel like the graphics have gotten like a little bit worse. I feel like I kind of prefer the way the old Lego games look. But I think it was a good Lego game. It encapsulates the Star Wars universe and stuff like that. I think it's got like the good Lego game charm. I think Lego games are always welcome. They're just like satirical. They're kind of don't take themselves too seriously. Have some fun. You know, like they're good, like family friendly, just fun in the universe that you love for whatever game it is. So, Yu-Gi-Oh! Master Duel, which I would like to play at some point. I don't know enough about Yu-Gi-Oh! I'd like to play that. FIFA, again, who cares? Call of Duty, again, who cares? Stray, which is a cat. That was a big thing when it came out. A lot of people were hyped about it, but then they played it and they moved on, which is kind of a sad thing about gaming nowadays, actually. It makes me kind of sad because, like, a lot of the time there is games like this where they come out, people are excited, they play them, and then it kind of just falls to the wayside because it was just a one-time kind of thing. You know what I mean? But I think that everybody agrees that this game was good. Like, there was nothing wrong with it. But it's just like they're kind of the talk of the town, and then they move on. You know what I mean? Which is like fair, but it's kind of sad that people don't talk about them more. But there's nothing else to really do, so it's not like the game's fault. It's not people's fault. It's just is what it is. But it's got a cat, so it's great. So this was a console exclusive, but apparently this game was very good. Actually, the Marvel Spider-Man. Apparently this was very, very good. Actually good movie licensed like game. I mean, it's not really movie licensed because it's more like comic book, right? But they actually made a good one. But it was a console exclusive, and then it came to PC. So very cool. V Rising, which is actually made by the developers of Battlerite. It's crazy to see this actually got so popular. This is kind of like Rust, but but like a top down kind of MOBA kind of MMO style, like, which is really cool. It's a cool adaptation to the thing where it's kind of like this Rust thing, but like MMO style, which is really cool. Rust Arc, that kind of stuff, but in an MMO / MOBA style with abilities and stuff, which is really cool. So definitely a cool concept, definitely new, fresh, and people do seem to like it. So I think it's like a little bit more niche. It was really popular when it first came out, which they did a good job of advertisement. People got behind it, and I do think a good chunk of people still play this. And it's a type of game that'll keep alive with like a small player base, even if they don't do that much to it, like add more stuff, because of the nature of Arc and Rust and like wiping servers and stuff like that. So cool to see that the Battlerite devs actually, you know, did a good job with this one. Cult of the Lamb, which was also a big thing when it first came out, which is a cool game, a very cool game that I think is a bit more of an indie game. I don't think this is a so it's cool to see more of an indie game on this list. I feel like we haven't seen very many. Stuff like Valheim, you know, like small teams, Phasmophobia. Fall Guys, I don't think was like an indie game, but it was like an unknown developer. Risk of Rain is more like indie. Mordhau is like kind of an unknown developer. Raft might be like an indie game. But yeah, definitely have not seen that many. So it's cool to see Cult of the Lamb there as well. And stuff like V Rising. Pretty cool. Pretty cool. And it definitely feels like as the game's gone on, like more unknown games have actually done a good job. Which is pretty cool. Like based off these lists, which is cool to see. Everyone won't stop fucking annoying me about buying the fucking Spider-Man games. I mean, I've heard that they're good games. I've heard that they're very good games, actually, like genuinely. The year isn't quite over yet, but so far we've released a huge Steam client update, which they did. I have gotten used to the UI and stuff. I think they've done a good job. It kind of is the nice, like, fresh look on Steam, and they've actually improved it. So very cool, very cool. Square Enix is definitely a small family developer, yeah. The year isn't quite over yet, but so far, oh yeah, and Counter-Strike 2 enters beta. That's really exciting, Counter-Strike 2. There's definitely some issues with it currently, from what I've heard. People are saying it doesn't quite feel great yet, but hopefully they're gonna iron it out. I trust Valve, though. They do a good job with their games. I trust that they're gonna iron out the shit, and it's gonna be good. It'll just take a little bit of time, I think. But it launches soon, apparently. And there are now more than 11,000 titles verified or playable on Steam Deck. That's really cool. That's a lot of games, man. Steam Deck is pretty sick. On the pop culture front, there's still a few months left of the year, but Taylor Swift is already a huge standout. I don't know anything about Taylor Swift, but over the summer, she reached a point where she had 4 albums in the Billboard Top 10 at the same time. Wow, that's crazy. And the first living artist to earn that feat in almost 60 years. Not to mention that Eras tour. Wow, really? So the author is a Swiftie, yeah. I mean, I think Taylor Swift does have some good music. Don't get me wrong. I've listened to some of her songs. I think she has some good music. But I don't like keep up with her or anything. I don't care about modern music really that much. But she does have some good songs, and I've listened to some of them before. Age of Wonders 4, which actually is pretty good from what I said. It's definitely like a niche like 4X game. But very cool. It's got like a tactical RPG element. So if you're into that kind of thing, I think it's actually pretty cool. It's kind of like XCOM, I think, like turn-based, but also a 4X game like Civilization. Like it's both, which is really sick. So if you're into that kind of stuff, I think it does a good job. Then BattleBit Remastered, which if you're into like Battlefield style stuff, very cool game apparently. And it's very cheap, made from like a small team that are just very passionate about this kind of thing. Some people are like, "Oh, it looks ugly." You're a bitch. Stop complaining. Start enjoying video games, and like I don't know, just stop being a bitch. That's all I can say. Because like a game can be good. It doesn't need to like look pretty for you to have fun. Like I mean, yes. You know, if you want your game to look pretty, fair enough. Gaming is for everybody. Find a game you enjoy. But, like, just because the game doesn't look pretty doesn't mean it's a bad game. Like, so. This game does look really sick, and I'd like to play it at some point. But I obviously have not gotten around to it. And apparently, like, you can run this shit on, like, a fucking potato. Like, which is a good thing, because you want lots of people. They're a small team. They wanted to create a massive multiplayer game. They were like, yo, we want to get, like, a fucking Battlefield game. That's just pure fun. You know what I mean? So let's make this shit run on a fucking potato. You know what I mean? And you'd hope so, yeah. Let's make this shit run on a potato, not be that like hard for us to like graphics intensive for us to design, and let's just focus on the gameplay. Let's just make this shit fun. You know what I mean? Like let's just focus on the fun element, which they've definitely done because people have been raving about this. Like people in the kind of like fun FPS, like big open, like massive multiplayer FPS combat, like Battlefield combat. I've been raving about this being a very good time. So, Baldur's Gate 3. I mean, Larian Studios has obviously made like a masterpiece. People are loving this a lot. It wasn't early access for a long time, but my opinion is that they didn't do anything scummy with it. It's just that early access lets developers do something scummy. Like it opens the door to kind of just shitty things that could happen. But they didn't go through any of those doors. So I think it's fine, right? It wasn't early access for like a while, but they didn't go through any of those doors. They didn't do any shitty things, so I think it's fine. And they've obviously made a really good game that people are really enjoying, which is cool. Dredge, which is actually a bit of an indie game, actually. Very cool to see this is done well. This game actually looks really cool. I've seen some gameplay of this. Like a Lovecraftian, kind of like slow paced, like story game where you kind of venture around, you do some fishing, you kind of uncover some story and stuff like that. This game looks really cool actually. Outlast Trials, which from what I've seen actually looks good. It's like Outlast, but kind of like replayable. It's not like a single player story. It's like a replayable game, and you level up your character, and you go into different trials. You can play it with your friends as well. I think they've actually done a good job with this and made like a unique experience and taken the Outlast and kind of made it interesting, which is cool. I'm not a big fan of the original Outlast games. I think they're kind of meh. But they've done a good job of creating something unique with this one, I think, with the whole like being able to like replay it and it not being like a single player adventure and being able to play with your friends. I think they've actually done something quite unique with this, which is cool. And like the atmosphere and stuff is creepy still. Like it's still a bit spooky. It's still a bit spooky. The gameplay's there. And it's still like a bit freaky and stuff. Cool. And you definitely got some jump scares and stuff. Starfield, which just released very recently, and how long is this list? Okay, that's fine. I was like, oh god, how many games do they have? Starfield, which is just released very recently, and I do think that I talked about this earlier, but I do think that Bethesda's done a good job. Not a great job because I don't think people are raving about it really, but it does seem like they've done a good job. Like people are like, okay, yeah, they've done a good job. They haven't fucked it up or anything. The hype was not as much as you'd expect, because I really think that Bethesda did not hype it up. It's not like they've been posting about this for like months. It's not like they've been, well, like months, but like not like years, you know what I mean? It's not like, oh guys, get ready for Starfield, you know what I mean? They've been like posting stuff. I feel like they really only started like the press stuff like the last couple months before it came out, which I think is a good play, because it means that, you know, people aren't like crazy hype. The hype isn't insane, you know what I mean? Like they're not like, they're just showing you like, here's our new game. We're trying to make Skyrim in space. You know, this is what we got. You know, hopefully it'll be good. And if it's not good, we'll work on it. Like, that's kind of what it feels like. And it feels like they've delivered, at least, which is good. And I think that over time, it'll get better. With mods and DLC and stuff. Like, it'll get a lot better. And just patches and stuff and improvements. So, definitely a game to come. So, trying to make Skyrim in space, that sentence hurts me so much. I mean, is that not just what it is? Why does it hurt? Is it just because it's true? I feel like what like how else do you explain it? You know what I mean? Is that not what it is? Starship Troopers Extermination. This looks like kind of a fun, like not too serious time from what I saw. Like cool, like big scale alien kind of like online gameplay. Like a whole bunch of team of players versus a whole bunch of aliens. If you're into Starship Troopers as well, it looks kind of cool. I'm surprised it's done so well though. I didn't think that many people bought this, but I think a lot of people adore Starship Troopers like as like a classic movie. Kerbal Space Program 2, which I mean it's done really well because the original Kerbal Space Program got very popular and people liked it a lot, but from what I've heard, Kerbal Space Program 2 is a bit shit. It's not great right now. Hopefully it'll get improved, but it's not a great experience. I don't know why, but from what I've heard, it's not great. F123, I mean, it's a racing game, and they make one every year. What is there to say? I feel like these games, they don't understand that when you add, like, when you, like, make your game, and then you add, like, 2023 at the end, that is just like a sign. It's like a fucking bumper sticker that just says, this game's shit. We release one every year. We just churn it out for money. Don't worry about it. Like, I feel like that's what it is. Like, I feel like they don't seem to understand that. Like, there's a fucking number stating the year at the end of your game. Chances are you don't give a shit about that game. Like, it's crazy to me that game companies have not discovered this already. It's like, just call it, like, fucking, like, FIFA 14. You know what I mean? Like, why do we need, like, the numbering system is, like, so bad. It's so bad. It's like, it's such, like, an obvious indicator to avoid that game for me. It's like a warning sign, like, oh, yeah, this game's not something to worry about. It's not worth your time. Darkest Dungeon 2, which is the sequel to the original Darkest Dungeon. It seems to be going well. I don't think it's gotten as much popularity as you would expect, though. Like, I would have expected this to kind of blow up a little bit, but I definitely don't think it has, which I'm not sure why. I mean, I think they've done a good job, but because the original Darkest Dungeon was, like, super popular, so I would have expected more people to be interested in this. But apparently not, which is kind of sad. But supposedly it's pretty good. Hi-Fi Rush, which I think is a bit more of a niche thing, but It is similar to, what is it called? Jet Set Radio. I think that's what it's called. Jet Set Radio, which is like a classic game that people are like a really big fan of. And it's definitely trying to encapsulate that kind of stuff in a modern game, modern era, I'm pretty sure. A little bit of Jet Set Radio vibes, I think. Which is cool. Very cool. And supposedly it's pretty good. Because of the reviews, I assume. But I haven't heard much about this because I think it's more of a niche thing. Sons of the Forest, which is sequel to The Forest. I really didn't think The Forest was that great. People raved about it. But supposedly the sequel's good. I don't think the original Forest was that great, and I think it's just more of the same. But people seem to love the original Forest, and they seem to love this game too, so fair enough. It is probably pretty good. But I don't know, I wasn't a big fan of it. Well, that was fun. Thank you once again for making these past 20 years such a cool ride. Here's to 20 more. Oh, by the way, we've posted up some free goodies in the Point Shop featuring the art of our very own Claire Hummel. Who's Claire Hummel? With that, though, that is it. That is it. Who's Claire Hummel? Is she the guy that was, or the person that was in the video? Illustrator and concept artist who draws a lot of dinosaurs, rocks, and historical fashion, making games at Valve. Oh, okay, so they're a developer. I like an artist. I assumed when they said featuring the art of our very own Claire Hummel, it was art of that thing. You know what I mean? Not art from that person. You know what I mean? But maybe that was a bad interpretation from me. What is in the Point Shop? Can I see? Anything super interesting? Animated avatar, some profile background, some animated stickers. Nothing too crazy. That's pretty cool though. It's crazy that Steam's been around so long. I mean, they do a really good job. I think Steam deserves more praise than they really get. It's not really fair how little people actually appreciate Steam. Because Steam has made PC gaming so much better over the years. It really has. And they definitely actually care about PC gaming, which is not something you can say for everybody that's part of the industry. And because they're such a forefront of the industry, the fact that they care is a big fucking deal. So I really think Steam deserves more credit than they get. I'm not saying like go fucking praise them, because they have their issues too, don't get me wrong, everybody does. But I don't know, like I feel like I see them get a lot of hate, and I think that PC gaming would not be what it is today without Steam. Like, there's just no chance. So, if there's anybody to show the last 20 years of PC gaming, or at least a part of PC gaming, because it's not all of it, don't get me wrong, it is Steam, in my opinion. If anybody's going to present that stuff, I think Steam is definitely one to do so. And it's crazy to look back at that stuff, especially as somebody who has only really experienced the last 10 years of it, because before that I wasn't really old enough or playing games, really. I only started playing games in like 2010. But it's cool to look back on that stuff and see stuff that I wasn't a part of and stuff that I was a part of, and kind of like look back and reminisce a little bit. So hopefully you guys enjoyed that. Hopefully you guys had a good time. Just a little bit of a thing, not anything too crazy. I apologize it took so long, but I had a good time. Hopefully you guys did too. And now we'll actually play some games, shall we? Now we shall actually play some of those games that we love so much.